Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call the number 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. And absolutely anyone can call, really about any subject. You can tell us that what you think about the conversation we're having right now, or switch up the conversation, because that's what Free Talk Live is all about. And that number, again, is 603-283-6160. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Angelo,
and Richie Rich.
And we have lots of things to talk about, probably more show prep than we've had in a really long time. But this has been a big one that I've seen going all over all of social media.
Before you do. Can
Oh,
I do
yes.
my call? Can I do my call, please?
You
Please?
had something you wanted to call out somebody,
I need
a
to call him out.
listener, a caller even.
If he's still alive, I want to preface this because we haven't heard from him in a long time. So if he's still alive, Ricky from the Commonwealth, I'm calling you out and I'm calling you dishonorable. And I'm saying, like, fix that. Like, earn your way back into honor, because we had a bet stemming from a long time ago. It's been a year and a half since we locked in this bet, according to my notes. January of 2024, we locked in this bet. And the first part of the bet has passed its deadline, and that was, two parts have passed the deadline. But July 2025, national average for gas meets or exceeds $10 per gallon. I checked this morning, and it's like $3.19 for the national average. So, Ricky from the Commonwealth, you lose part one of the bet, and you now are indebted to me $5.
I cannot believe that anyone would think that gas was going to go to $10 national average. That's
why I made these bets.
Yeah.
Because they felt like sure things, and he was adamant. Like, we negotiated this over, feels like a couple of months, to get everything locked in. And the second part he squelched on was he was supposed to have all 15 dash in escrow by the beginning of 2025. There was no month on that.
What does that mean exactly? Like, in a place where you guys could both see it? And
originally we agreed to entrust it to Peakless Mountaineer. Peakless Mountaineer agreed to hold it and to disperse it when all the bets were expired. When everything came to fruition. And Ricky had not put anything into Peakless Mountaineer. He called in a number of times over the last year and a half saying, like, hey, I'm having trouble getting the dash. Like, can we switch to cash? I'm like, no. Because the whole point of this was cash was supposed to be zero and worth nothing.
Yeah. Wait. Why would he say, can you switch to cash? Because if he won, if he had any confidence that he would win,
he wouldn't want cash.
He wouldn't want cash, and
Right.
he wouldn't be able to give it to you because it'd all be zero.
Exactly. So, but that's part two of the bet. So he has until the end of 2025 where the value of the US dollar equals zero, and that'll put him on the hook for another $5. I'm confident in winning that one. And the end of first quarter 2026, the United States becomes a third world country. That's harder to define. I don't think we're going to be, considered a third world country by end of March of next year. Like we're only 8 months away from that. So he has not put any money into escrow. The first deadline has passed. He's not made any attempts to call into the show recently or to put the money into escrow, but he now owes me $5. So you dishonorable, sir. You dishonored the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Fix it immediately.
I even pulled up our little system that shows who's calling, etc. It shows who's called recently, and I haven't seen Ricky Rick. Sorry, oh my gosh, Ricky Rick. I was trying to say
that's what
Ricky,
he wants to go by.
Ricky from the Commonwealth. At all recently. I could go back and make a report about the last couple months or something, but I won't do that on the air because that's too hard. Yeah, sorry for forgetting about your call out you wanted to do. That's very important. It's important to stick to your bets if you make a bet with somebody.
Yeah.
It's important.
Operate with honor, sir.
Yeah. Or just don't make bets if you shouldn't be.
Well, and that's the thing. If it was like a one call thing, whatever. But he called in week after week, making the same claim. I took him up on the bet. They were all vague. So then we spent week after week, narrowing it down to something measurable. Right. And then we finally got something mostly measurable where, it's like I said, except for the third world country, we got it mostly measurable. We got time frames on these things. We had Peakless Mountaineer agree. And I even offered when Peakless Mountaineer, since Peakless Mountaineer is no longer on the show.
Ricky is on the phone.
Oh, good. Yeah. Sir, get back into honor.
You're on Free Talk Live. Ricky, what's on your, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yes.
Thank you there, Miss Bonnie. Brother Angelo, pleasure to meet you. I heard you before. Brother Richie, you thought I was dead?
No, I just haven't heard from you, and I didn't want to besmirch your good name. if you haven't paid your debt
No,
because you were
and
dead.
You know what? The good news is, I had some trouble finding somebody, but I got somebody to help me get that account on Tuesday, and then I can get that dash and work on it. So
Okay, well, you better work on it quick because now you're
nobody's
already
welching
behind.
on anything, Richie. And by the way, nobody's welching on anything. How could you say I dishonored anything?
Because,
when I'm gonna be doing it on
I'll tell you
Tuesday?
why. Because by the beginning of 2025, 15- was supposed to be put into escrow. And as far as I know, we're well beyond the beginning of 2025.
Wait a minute. I thought I had till July. That just passed.
Well, end of July was the first part of the bet, which was the national average for gas. But all of the dash was supposed to have already been in escrow.
I wanted to give you some information. Now, I don't know if you listened to the original broadcast with Brother Ian, but my bet was based on, and my analysis, which isn't off too far. See, it was originally based on the gold-backed currency by BRICS. Now, they were a little late coming to that, so probably I'm going to lose all three bets.
I'm fairly certain. That is why I made the bet in the first place.
You know what? The bad news is I do believe that my analysis is correct. It's just going to be the following year.
Okay. I mean, if you want to double down.
Still bad news. But I'm going to probably lose all bets. But a question I got for you. I've been looking into the dollar reaching zero, and I don't understand it. Apparently, the dollar is based on markets of other countries or something. How do you figure that out with the dollar's value? That I don't understand.
Well, I mean, for this bet, right, you're likely going to lose. But all currencies are valued against other currencies. And what we know from like Zimbabwe and was it Venezuela and what was the German one? During the World War II Germany. Weimar, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Is you can go into hyperinflation and not reach zero, right? Like the best example for like reaching zero, as far as I know off the top of my head, is like the continental dollar in the United States. And that is gone, right? We don't use that currency anymore. It went to zero and we switched over to the United States dollar and then the Federal Reserve note, right? So like we might not be so far away from hyperinflation. Inflation's there, from the impetus of the dollar to now, it's lost like 96, 97% of its purchasing power.
That's what I've been hearing.
Right.
It's been...
But that's like a 110-year trend, right? From like 1913 to now, it's lost 97% of its purchasing power. But like that, number one, that's still not zero, and I still get paid in dollars, and the store still takes my dollars.
In simple layman's terms, not only for me but the listeners, how are we going to figure out when it hits zero if it does?
When places don't take it, and people stop using it.
Why don't you guys choose another currency to say when it's worth zero in euros or whatever?
He's welcome to do that, and I will do my research and to either bet or not bet.
Miss Bonnie, that's actually what I was seeing. Is that's how they calculate it for the most part, is the dollar based on the euro.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, look at Zimbabwe. We have on the wall.
That makes logical sense.
We have the
$1
Zimbabwe note. It's like $1 trillion note.
$1 trillion.
Right.
Oh.
So like that $1 trillion note for Zimbabwe buys you like, a third of a loaf of bread. Right. But that's still not zero. Right. Until they stop using that Zimbabwe note, and they may have, right. This might be historical, but for the example, as long as the store will take 3 of those for a loaf of bread, right. Like that's still not zero. Mm-hmm. So I'm confident the dollar's not reaching zero anytime soon.
Me too.
Hold on, Richie.
Yes.
Now, I've many times in my life, and I don't think I've ever referred to it on the show this way. I've referred to the dollar as a street narcotic like methamphetamine. In all essence, it's worth absolutely nothing. It's only worth what people are willing to pay for it. Now, that's the dollar. So I think what Miss Bonnie's saying makes sense. The closest thing that we could back it to is the euro. I think that makes a lot of sense as opposed to people not using it. Because there's old timers out there that could not handle not using paper money or something like that. They would still use it. So I don't see paper money ever going away, despite what people say.
Right, but no one's trading in continental dollars. That currency went to zero.
Wait, if he's arguing against the ability for it to ever go to zero, I'm just like, why did he make this bet?
That's also a good question, Ricky.
Well, I mean, so you're against using it against the euro. You're against that.
No, I'm saying like I don't even know what that means. As long as you can trade euros for dollars, right? It's still not zero. Right?
Like you can pull up something right now that says like what is a dollar worth in euros and vice versa.
It's probably like $2 per euro.
There's a way to measure it. There's a way to actually measure it, and I think that makes sense.
Yes. So if you want to change the bet that by the end of the year you'll get $0 per euro, I'm also fine with that, right?
Right. That's logical, Richie, because
but it's still not going to be that.
Right now?
Well, I don't think it will be either, because I think my basis was off, and I've been looking at things.
Well,
I'm looking at the BRICS currency took way too long to kick in.
Yes.
I think it's going to be next year.
And the thing about that whole BRICS thing was it got all of us really riled up for kind of nothing. Like, I don't really blame him for thinking, like, things were going to get crazy. I don't even blame him as much for the $10 national average gas as I do for thinking that the dollar would go to zero. But
or the United States becoming a third world country by next March.
Things really seemed like they were getting really crazy. And then like every time there's an election, you don't know what they're going to do.
I think it's going to happen next year. I think it's going to happen next year. It just took too long for the BRICS currency to start getting rolling.
Well, talk to me after you pay off this debt, Ricky, and if I find you to be trustworthy and like not welching on debts, maybe you can go double or nothing.
It just took me a while, Richie. Now be kind.
No, we're 19 months into this.
Welching on a bet means that you're not. And in fact, I listen every night. I hear what's going on, and I'm not dead. And the reality is, the reason why I haven't called in is I haven't had much to say, and I'm going to explain that.
No, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to call in every week.
Wait a minute, Richie. I want to explain why I haven't called in. Trump's an amazing phenomenon because, and what's going on in Washington, because he does a lot of stuff, but it's just so slam bang and so quick. There's not much to say about it. It happened, and that's it. It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
There's no conversation here.
And again, I'm not calling you out on not calling in. I'm calling you out on not putting the 15 dash into escrow by the beginning of the year. And now now that we're past the first deadline, it's good to hear from you.
Right. And part of the problem was I had to get somebody else to help me with it.
Right.
And that's going to be Tuesday. So
right. And with all due respect, that sounds like a you problem, and you've had 19 months.
Nah, it wasn't me problem, but it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal, Richie. And nobody's welching. It just took a while.
All right. So well, I look forward to receiving 5 dash from you shortly.
Well, I definitely owe you that. Now, Miss Bonnie, you were saying about the dollar versus the euro.
Right now, it says that one United States dollar equals 0.86 euro.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
That is pretty bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
And I think that's
it bad? What makes it bad?
I
can remember when that was very different.
14 cents.
I remember when the euro was worth less not that long ago.
The euro is worth less.
No, it's worth more.
Oh, okay, that's bad. Yeah, that always gets me every single time. Like, whenever I look at this exact thing, even if it's like a Bitcoin to another crypto, it just turns me around and flips me upside down every time.
It's not even necessarily bad.
Well,
right?
It's not like I actually would think it was bad if the euro was lower than the dollar. I'm just like, well, they're both bad. If it's bad for whichever one is lower, that's so low.
Well, but you're not
14%.
Okay, fine if you want to do it in percentage, but what you're not taking into account is how expensive things are in Europe, right? Like if you go dollars to yen, it looks really bad, but a CD here is like $10 or whatever, and in Japan it's like 10,000 yen.
How do you spell yen again?
YEN. Whatever, $5, whatever.
Well, I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
whatever. Pick a product.
I guess it was more like a scalper shop.
Okay.
But yesterday it was a local shop. I went in there and I was looking at some CDs.
Yeah.
Like unopened and like $89 for unopened CDs, and I don't know if they're like first editions or something special.
Well, I'll say that if that's the price in Japan, it would have been like 89,000 yen.
Yeah,
which sounds bad, like 1-to-1 dollar, which is weak yen.
Yeah.
But prices are reflected.
It says 1 United States dollar equals 148.10 Japanese yen.
Okay.
I don't know, 0.10, whatever, however you want to say that.
Right. So it makes the yen look weak compared to the dollar, but everything is priced higher in Japan on the yen.
And they seem to be doing fine, minus the birth rate.
Yeah. Well, and technologically,
Well,
they're
that
way more
being
advanced.
That being said, let's clear this up once and for all. What is really the best? Maybe this was a oversight on my part when I thought of this so simple, not being an economics major. What is the best way to figure out the dollar's worth?
Again, you have to measure its purchasing power, and that has to be compared to other things.
I just kind of picked euro because, I mean, it's kind of like another comparable.
That's what I was thinking.
Place
the same
to the United
thing
States.
when I was doing my research.
It's obviously much closer than the Japanese.
Yeah,
but
compared to Canadians, Canadians are probably like either 1-to-1 or Canada might be a little bit more. When I was younger, Canada was a little weaker than the dollar.
It's a little weaker. It's 1 United States dollar equals 1.38 Canadian dollar.
Okay. So what does that even mean? If things are cheaper in Canada, it doesn't matter.
It's not, though. And they always come here and shop.
Okay.
Yeah,
then that makes sense.
When I was a kid, it was like a nickel difference.
In Japan, one thing I've always heard is that the electronics are super cheap there. Nice electronics are super cheap because they make them there.
Right. So who cares what the exchange rate is if you're going to get it cheaper? Mm-hmm. Right. It's always a comparison against something else.
And the quality of life is probably pretty good there.
That's questionable depending on who you talk to. Like it's a weird work culture, which also affects that birth rate problem.
Yeah, it's like hard to quit your job in Japan. They almost like,
it's almost illegal.
They shame you. Yeah. You got to get up. You got to like write letters to everybody in your company, like apologizing for letting them down and dishonoring the company. And
I was so stressed out about it here. Imagining it being worse is horrible.
Yeah, and I guess there's been a lot of reports of like if your boss finds out what your new company is, they'll go behind your back to like blackball you. So it's better to try to like keep it private. And
I only had one job that I ever felt bad about quitting, to be fair. And then I quit a million with zero remorse.
Could you imagine writing everybody at your local 7-Eleven an apology letter for quitting when you're like 19 and you're doing the overnight and this is like the 5th tweaker you've had to beat off this week?
I just can't clean the slip machine anymore.
So wait, I wanted to know
one other thing, Miss Bonnie, I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
It was teased last night. Are you going to cover the news on Brother Ian's appeal?
What did you say? It was cheese?
Teased. They talked about it but didn't get to it.
Oh, really? Okay, well, yeah, the appeal at the First Circuit was denied on all counts. He's not getting out on appeal, so they denied that. And their expedited decision was not expedited.
Expedite like 9 months later.
Yeah. And they denied his appeal on every count that he appealed, which his lawyer didn't appeal one of the counts for some reason.
The most important one.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, all the sentences were served concurrently, and the one they didn't appeal had the longest sentence.
Exactly. That's why.
So even if they won everything else on appeal, he would still be serving the full sentence.
Mm-hmm. It's really weird. Unless they just did a retrial.
How long you think he's still got in there?
He went in. He's done over a year now, if you include his initial 69 days, and he got
69
sentenced to 420 days. No, I'm just kidding. He got sentenced to 8 years, so that's 7 years. But they always do like 85% of the sentence, and I don't know how to do that math. Seriously, that's the exact kind of math. It's like I'm getting tested tonight. What?
We'll hopefully see him sooner. And everybody, I'm sure, is looking forward to him coming back where he belongs, and that's on this show.
Yes.
And back to your life, I'm sure, Miss Bonnie.
More importantly, yes.
Yes.
I did want to know, Ricky, before we move on to the next caller, you said that you had, you wanted to say why you haven't been calling. Didn't you say that?
Yeah, well, it's just that it's a weird phenomena that I'm experiencing. It ain't like Trump #1 or other things. It's the way he's operating now. He operates in a certain way. He does something, boom, gone. That's it. There's no
Thank you for your
debate,
attention in
there's
this
no
matter.
discussion. It's just over, and that's it. There's nothing to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing to discuss is this whole Epstein thing, and I don't have much interest in speaking about it, except that
Ricky's on the list.
as far as I'm concerned, I think Trump's probably either got something to be guilty of or he's unnecessarily paranoid, which probably could be the case. I mean,
No, he's already floated the idea that the Democrats have planted his name on the list. So we know his name is on the list.
Obama. He said it was Obama and Comey and Clinton.
I did not hear all that his name, that's kind of paranoid, like you're saying.
Well,
not
he's
only
covering
that,
his
it's
tracks so
ridiculous.
that when his name ends up on the list, like, told you, Obama did it.
Whoa. And then all of a sudden they started talking about Russiagate. It's such a convenient time to be talking about Russiagate, which is such a dumb name, Russiagate, but like everything has to be blah, blah, blah.
that's
Gates, not the same at all.
Too. Well, hey,
Thank
as
Watergate
far
for
as-
that.
That's a
Yeah,
mess as far as I'm concerned. I can say something about that. And it's interesting because I have a good memory of when that happened. Now, get this. Now, Obama came out and said this. Now, Russia did do things to interfere with our election. It just didn't interfere with the vote. Now, I disagree because I know people that voted for Trump because of stuff on Facebook and things like that. So I don't believe that for a second. I think they did manipulate our election. I think it was successful also.
Well, blame Obama for that too, then, because he's the one who legalized propaganda.
Thanks for the call, Ricky from the Commonwealth. And we have more callers on the line. Free Talk Live, more coming up. 603-283-6160 is the phone number you can call to get in on the conversation with us. And if you have got Richie Rich on any bets that he needs to settle up with you, call in. More coming up.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 13th through the 16th for the 8th annual Fork Fest at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Fork Fest is a fork of the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which has sold out in recent years. Fork Fest happens the weekend before the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Fork Fest is decentralized, which means that there's no ticket cost and no one is in charge. All you have to do to join the fun is reserve your camping site, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 13th through the 16th. You can find out more at the unofficial website, forkfest.party. You can also connect with other attendees on the Forkfest Telegram and Matrix chat rooms, as well as the Forkfest forum. You can find links to those at forkfest.party. We hope to see you there June 13th through the 16th. forkfest.party.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. US Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, is visiting Gaza on Friday to inspect food distribution sites and discuss the starvation crisis, as President Trump says the US will work with Israel to get more food into the Strip. Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is visiting Gaza on Friday along with Ambassador Mike Huckabee. The White House says they will inspect food distribution sites, work to secure plans for more food delivery, and meet with Palestinians to hear about the hunger situation firsthand. Reports have suggested that they will visit food distribution sites run by the controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Sites run by the group have been the scene of regular incidents of deadly violence in which the UN says Palestinians seeking aid have been shot and killed by both Israeli forces and the American military contractors guarding the sites. Blake Sifton, Tel Aviv.
India is reportedly weighing diplomatic steps to appease the White House amid a surprise US announcement of 25% tariffs on Indian goods. Reports suggest New Delhi is exploring import boosts, not retaliation, to keep trade talks alive, but it has vowed to protect its labor-intensive agricultural sector at all costs. Kshitij Nagar reports from New Delhi.
India was caught off guard by President Trump's surprise 25% tariff declaration, according to a report by Bloomberg. Reports claim India is now considering proposals to increase US imports, including energy, electronics and communication equipment, to try and ease bilateral tensions, but has ruled out any immediate retaliatory measures. Opposition parties have criticized the Indian government's handling of the issue in the ongoing parliament session. Rahul Gandhi from India's main opposition party, the Congress, described the situation as a blow to India's broader foreign and economic policy direction. However, India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India will not work on any trade deal that jeopardizes the country's agricultural interests, even as formal talks continue with the US trade officials. US negotiators are expected to arrive in New Delhi in mid-August to continue talks for a mini-trade deal. Kshitij Nagar, New Delhi.
Meanwhile, Pakistan says it's reached a trade deal with the United States. The confirmation comes after US President Donald Trump said that the two countries have signed a deal to jointly develop Pakistan's oil reserves. Hira Mustafa has more.
Pakistan's finance ministry says the agreement includes a reduction in reciprocal tariffs with particular benefits for Pakistani exports. The exact scale of tariff relief has not been made public. Washington has also made no reference to tariffs being part of this deal. But officials in Islamabad claim the US has agreed to ease tariffs against Pakistan in a bid to strengthen ties. However, exact details of the trade deal will remain under wraps for now. Hira Mustafa, Islamabad.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
You can help spread the ideas of liberty with our Patreon for just $5 per month at amps.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number you can call to get in on the conversation with us, bring up whatever is on your mind. And I'd like to thank Paul for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Paul went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks to Paul and everyone who supports us, and again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. And we really do appreciate everyone who's an amplifier with us. Nice to call one person at a time. So thanks to Paul and everybody who's an amplifier with us. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Richie Rich.
And we have another caller on the line, and he wants to talk about, at least in part, he wants to talk about Ricky from the Commonwealth, the last caller. So, Turd in Pennsylvania, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm Turd Ferguson from the Commonwealth, I guess. But
yeah.
Ricky from the Commonwealth is obnoxious and intolerable. But I was going to say, if he knew anything about anything, he'd know that the best way to actually measure the dollar's value is using the DXY. Although, I guess, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's a decent way. Unlike the inflation numbers, the government can't really fudge them. You know what I mean? Because that's just like based on like the going market rate. So the DXY the answer would be the answer to his question.
Will you help, since you guys are both in the Commonwealth, will you help him get some Dash so he can pay me?
No, I don't want to help Ricky do anything. I find it to be annoying. And I don't like calling it the Commonwealth. I think that's really gay. I wish you would just say Ricky from Pennsylvania, you know?
We never call Massachusetts the Commonwealth up here, and I know it's one. I think it might be the only one up here in New England. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but another reason is like, well, Ricky probably lives in a crappy part of Pennsylvania. I live in Shrewsbury, which is of course the most superior place in Pennsylvania to live, or maybe in the entire country.
That's mean.
But
whoa, what?
What?
Oh, sorry. Massachusetts is the only one. And it said the 5 other states are states, and it lists them all. And for a second, I was like, they all are. My bad.
As if there's a functional difference.
Yeah. I don't really know exactly what it means. I know in Virginia, it means taxes are higher. It's what my parents said.
So taxes are higher in the Commonwealth? Is that because it's Commonwealth?
Is that true, Turd, in your experience in a Commonwealth state? or not?
I don't think so, but I will say though that the property taxes in Shrewsbury are like insane, and I guess that's probably because everybody wants to live here so bad. But dude, I pay up the yin yang for property taxes, dude, and it makes me really mad. I pay like serious property taxes. I mean, everything else is pretty low in PA.
Mm-hmm.
I guess comparatively, at least to the other states. But I do pay. I pay probably more, just as much or more than Keene does, to be honest, which
Keene
is
is bad.
crazy. Yeah, I know. But a lot of people want to live in Keene too, so that's probably why it's so high. But yeah, I pay up the yin yang in property taxes.
Do they?
Here.
What's the appeal in Keene?
I was like, I don't know if a lot of people want to live here. A lot of businesses fail.
It's cute.
I really like
Well,
It's
living
cute.
here, but
old people like cute and small.
It's also
and that's
college
exactly, it's
town.
like an old people thing,
Yeah, and old people like college towns.
Okay.
especially liberal old people. So what do you find insufferable about Ricky? I really don't find him insufferable. He used to do things I didn't like, and then he stopped when I asked. So
Well, he's annoying for one. He talks like he likes to sound like he's General Robert E. Lee of the Confederate Army, which I find to be annoying as crap.
He was probably wearing his Confederate cape while he was calling.
you mean his battle flag?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's so ridiculous. I can't imagine going around talking like you're Robert E. Lee. I mean, I can't. I think he should go down to Baltimore and talk to people down there like he's Robert E. Lee.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
maybe it's just a regional dialect and he's always had it.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You don't even know
Only-
which part of Pennsylvania he's from.
Yeah, but I know that people from Pennsylvania aren't complete morons except for Ricky.
Oh my god, it's just me.
Yeah, but I was actually also going to say that, yeah, I mean, I don't know where he's from, but he probably loves Shrewsbury way more. I mean,
It'd be
and,
funny if he
you know,
lived like
another-
2 blocks from you and you just didn't know it.
Well, then I
Where
would
are the
actually
porn
respect him
studios?
more.
'Cause that's
that
where
would,
he was
That
at.
would make him smart. But you know, I mean, Shrewsbury, I'm actually glad that we don't have any Section 8 housing here, to be honest, because that's probably where Ricky would live. And I don't want my
Dang.
property value going down to subsidize the poors.
Are you saying you don't have
But,
any Section 8 housing in Shrewsbury or like the area you live in?
Well, I don't want it in either one. I don't want
Yeah,
it in
but-
Shrewsbury directly or the surrounding areas at all.
Currently,
And-
there is none in Shrewsbury.
Wait, what'd you say? What was that question?
She's clarifying that there's no Section 8 housing in Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania.
Like currently.
Correct. There is 0 Section 8 housing
Wow.
in Shrewsbury or the surrounding areas. Now, there
Nice.
are a lot of really big, like rich people developments around Shrewsbury, but that's okay with me because a lot of them have like really hot teenage daughters, so that's fine with me. But I was gonna
teenage
say too,
sons.
I actually kicked ass at amateur night on Thursday night. I really feel like I've got a good handle on that event now, and I'm really becoming like not. I mean, I was always a great musician and DJ, but now I feel like I'm even becoming like a really good MC. Like I really felt like I had some serious Carson Daly energy going on there, and I'm pretty proud of myself. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I made a lot of money that night too. So
What's
it was
amateur
cool.
night? What does this mean?
It's the night at the club where like all the girls that like want to be exotic dancers come and they like compete with each other for a cash prize.
So what are you saying you did well at?
He was
Competing?
the MC.
Well,
I
it's
didn't
my
know.
event. It's my event. I host it. You know
Oh,
what
okay.
I mean? And so I get paid for like the regular night too that night, but then I also get paid for hosting the event. So I make like almost double the money. It's nice.
Nice.
And I did really, really well. And I just feel like a serious super stud right now. But it bummed me out because I was having a good week in sales, but then one of the people like I sold this huge bathroom to, this huge bathroom model. It was like $25,000 or $30,000. Okay. And then they canceled like the day after, and I was so bummed because I was going to make like $5,000 in commission off that bathroom, and I was so bummed. But I'm still all the close. I did make another sale though that was still pretty decent, so I'm just all the closer to paying off my house. And then once I do that, I can move to Hollywood, and then I'll be way farther away from Ricky from the Commonwealth, which will be good.
Even further from Section 8 housing.
Well,
Closer
I think
to
that
it. In Hollywood?
yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I would be. Well, I'd be far away from Baltimore's Section 8 housing. There's definitely, but that's like kind of still far away, I guess.
Really, I don't know the distinction between like Hollywood and Los Angeles. I don't know if it's
Hollywood
just one
is
little
in
small
Los
part.
Angeles.
Yeah, but
Hollywood, yeah.
Is there like
I just think of
definitely
rich
not?
neighborhoods when I think of Hollywood.
Right,
'cause
that's
all
what
the
I'm trying to
actors.
say.
Yeah, so you
Like-
wouldn't have Section 8 housing.
Maybe not. But when I said I kind of meant Angeles. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's up with proper nouns in me tonight. I've been walking around Shrewsbury, PA, this whole conversation via Google Street View, and it looks pretty ghetto. Gotta be honest. Kind of disgusted.
Not ghetto at all here.
What's your address? She'll punch it in.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll take a look
My
at it.
address?
We'll dox you live
No, I
on
don't
it.
want to give my address.
I was walking on Forest Street and I came up on this like dilapidated old church that's like painted white or like used to be painted white, and then all of these ugly brick houses. Just honestly so ghetto. I'm kind of disgusted, but maybe that's the Keene, New Hampshire in me.
I don't know. I don't even know where you're talking about. I mean, I know where Forest Avenue is, but I don't know about any white churches or anything. I don't know what you're talking about. But
Broken up
that's
concrete.
that's like at the very, very north end of Forest. Yeah, I know where you're talking. Yeah, but that little corner
That doesn't
of
count.
Shrewsbury sucks. Well, that's like one little corner of Shrewsbury.
Why
But,
did
yeah, and I
Google
agree.
decide to drop me directly at the only ghetto part of Shrewsbury?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I know actually where you're talking about. And yeah, I hate that corner too. The corner sucks. But yeah, everywhere else in Shrewsbury kicks ass though.
I was kind of joking. There's like some pretty fields and stuff like that. It's just such a random place for me to hear about so often that I had to look it up finally. Still
Yeah,
walking
well,
around.
All the
Where
guys,
else are you hearing
all the
about
guys
Shrewsbury,
in the-
Pennsylvania?
Only from him.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
the guys. Well, no, because all the guys in the chat talk about it every single day. But I guess Bonnie, you're not in the chat anymore, though. I guess. So.
No, but you talk about it when you call a lot, and it's been years that I've been on the show.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I do talk about. Well, we were just talking about this at the company barbecue the other day. Like even like all my employee friends, they were all talking about how much ass Shrewsbury kicks, and they don't even live there. And I was like, yeah, you're all so lime green jello of me because I live right in the heart of Shrewsbury, and it was just cool that.
Just tell them to get their commissions up so they can live in Shrewsbury too.
It looks very Midwest. That's kind of
Okay.
all I got from it. I was joking
right.
really about it being super ghetto. I'm just kind of joking.
It does sort of have like a Midwestern town feel. Actually, it's
Sorta.
kind of in some ways it's even kind of like a mixture of like Midwestern town and Keene and like Towson, Maryland combined. Actually, it's got like those three sort of vibes to it all in one. Yeah.
That's another
But,
random place. I've never heard of Calston, Maryland. Yeah, never heard of it.
Towson.
Calson. All right.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah,
else
but,
on your mind, Turd?
Yeah, my shower that I built up and my employee discount's going to kick so much ass. Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. It's got like the nice subway tile and all that crap.
Does it have the rainfall
And,
shower head?
I got the rainfall shower head with the attachment.
Nice.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you can actually run the attachment with the rainfall shower head at the same time. So it's like double the water stream. It's pretty cool.
I'm envious.
And and then it's all white subway tile, but it's acrylic, so it never molds and it's super easy to clean and all that stuff. And then I got like the Euro slider glass doors. The glass doors are like 3/8 of an inch thick. They're like bulletproof, basically. It's so nice.
The nicest shower I've seen was my buddy's dad was wealthy, and so he bought the house next door, extended his house into it, so he had like a double-sized house, and converted like one of the rooms in in the other house into just a full shower. So it's like it's like the size of this studio with 3 or 4 shower heads just blasting at you.
Oh, and from different directions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was saying like 3 or 4 different like a locker room shower
No,
setup. but
well, yeah, but no stalls, right? Just all of that on you, just
at the same
time.
Yeah,
it was
but
nice.
If you build a shower like that, you're going to need either a huge water heater or like a tankless thing, because you're going to want out of hot water real quick with a shower like that.
Well, most people use
But,
tankless anymore, don't they? Most people I know are running tankless. It's
I also said, like, this was Hawaii, and again, he was wealthy, so like whatever he needed, he could afford.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you want a good tankless, you got to go gas. I mean, they don't really make great tankless electric. I mean, I guess there are some, but it's rare. But yeah, I actually just posted a picture of my new shower that I'm buying in the chat. looks so awesome. Oh, it's so nice. All right, well, yeah. Anyway, I kick ass, and so does Shrewsbury. So you guys have a good night.
You have a good
Clog it
night
up with all
too.
those solo showers.
As you can tell from listening to Turd's Call, you can call about anything that's on your mind on Free Talk Live.
Even if it's to complain about Turd.
Yeah. If the next caller complains about Turd, and then the next caller complains about them. Well, one day Gigi did call to complain about Turd, but she was just being so rude and demanding that I hang up on him when he wants to talk about what he wants to talk about. So I hung up on her, and then she's never called back. But
Let me also, now that he's off the line, let me just also say this. I recently watched the movie Eden, and I didn't get it with the whole Sydney Sweeney thing.
oh.
I was like, that's it? That's what he's always all worked up about?
Oh,
Okay.
I see what you're saying. I don't get it either. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not attracted to women's bodies, and I can see that she has a nice body.
Okay.
But I think she has a very average, if not below average, face.
Okay.
Like-
And she, you know, that's the only, aside from the recent jeans commercial, jeans ad from American Eagle or whatever, that's the my only experience with Sydney Sweeney was that movie, and she didn't even play the hot chick.
I
She
was about
played
to
like
say,
the plain chick.
Isn't the other girl in the movie, Ana de Armas, way more beautiful?
In that movie, absolutely.
In life, she's more beautiful.
Okay.
I've always thought she's really pretty. And,
Which is why she played the hot chick.
yeah,
And Sydney Sweeney played like the plain chick.
that is
Maybe
just
that's part of
reality.
her- maybe that's a part of her appeal, though. It's just the girl next door.
Okay. That she's
And I get that.
attainable.
But I wish people would just say that.
She's attainable, but it's still like, you know, it's you could walk around with it like, look at what I got.
Okay.
Even though, you know what I mean?
Especially her body.
Because some of these, like the super, super hot ones, they're just, most guys are just, the fantasy's not even good because they know they it's so out of their league. That's an impossibility.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
And
know?
I wish more people would just admit that, though, because it's like I get annoyed by being told, like, if I say, I don't think she's literally a 10 out of 10, people are like, you're just jealous. It's like I feel like the only sane person in the nutty house when I hear stuff like that, because to me,
Yeah, but for some guys, that is a 10 out of 10. Because they like,
that's
like
like
the
get yourself out of the
like, what would they would
subjectiveness.
consider like the bombshells. They're not even on the scale for them anymore because it's like, well, I don't even. It's so far out there.
Then people need to be more honest by what they mean. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, if we can just all agree that she has a really nice body and I'll even say just completely average or like 1 point above average face, but really, honestly, that's not my personal opinion, but I'm trying to get my opinion out. I just know that she doesn't have a perfect face. She has a gummy smile and her eyes have this like quality, the same shape that Down syndrome people have in their eyes. And it seriously has me thinking there's a conspiracy to get men attracted to people that have Down syndrome and stuff like that, because the pool's going to be so bad as they keep vaccinating people and stuff like that.
So,
Well, you already seen like have you heard about the OnlyFan Down syndrome girls where they're taking, these women are using filters on their face
to look like Downies?
to look Downies, and then they
Wow.
sell nudes with the filter on.
All right.
And they're making
I'm not
money.
familiar with this.
They'll put posts on Instagram like, does my disability mean I can't be beautiful type stuff.
Yeah.
And these
The short answer is yes and no, right? Like, beauty is definitely subjective, and there are objective standards.
Exactly.
And
I always say
symmetry
that
is an
exactly
objective
that.
standard.
I always say exactly that. That there's an objectivity and a subjectivity to it.
Yes.
Like, I totally understand that Sydney Sweeney could just check all the boxes of one specific guy's specific likes, like blonde, small eyes that are far apart, gummy smile, little pudgy nose. Maybe that's some guy's favorite thing. I understand
Which is
that.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
I'm
objectively
married.
not a 10.
That's what I'm exactly trying
Okay.
to say.
All right.
And I'm glad that you agree. I don't really get, I didn't really know that that's one of Turd's things, because Turd just acts like he's super attracted to everyone.
I thought
as long as they look under the age of 18.
I thought he
Yeah.
mentioned Sydney Sweeney a few weeks ago.
He probably did.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
And then I just happened to watch the movie. I'm like, oh, this? You know, I was like, I'm okay.
I've never seen the movie.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen her act in anything. I never
Okay.
watched the.
It's not a bad movie based on a true story, and she plays like the plain Jane chick.
Yeah, I could see some like pictures of it. She almost looks like a pilgrim or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's been a huge topic, the whole thing, and we don't even have to talk about it, like read a story, but that's been a huge topic as far as she did a denim ad where she said, oh, genes can be passed down from parents, and it's supposed to be a double entendre about blue
Genetics.
genes and genes as in genetics, right? And then she ends it by saying my genes are blue because blue genes. No one would say my genes are blue, meaning blue eyes, but everybody took that as a nod to her blue eyes and blonde hair and started saying that it was like subtle Nazi propaganda.
Yeah.
And people are dead serious and very angry about it. They're not even just saying like, what if this is the case? Whoa, that's like a crazy conspiracy. What if that's... They're like, they are certain that that's what it means and angry about it, and that's what is really weird about it to me.
Well, even if they are, so what? Like,
It's a jeans ad.
Yeah, it's a jeans ad. They used a hot white chick for a jeans ad, and they said, hey, you know how everybody was sick and tired of how the ads were super woke? Let's go the opposite direction and see how much money it makes, and it's made them a lot of money.
Let's sell to people who are actually buying the product instead of trying to like get new people at the expense of our normal customers,
Right.
which totally didn't work, right? They tried to expand the market by, you know, the woke ads, and they contracted it instead.
Well, they didn't fit in them anyways.
Yeah.
I don't fit in American Eagle. I haven't shot there since I was 13.
I don't think I've ever owned a pair of American Eagle. Anything.
I don't think
I've
I've
ever shopped there.
owned the new jeans by them specifically, but other things.
I'm wearing a pair of jeans right now that's like the first new pair of jeans that I purchased for myself in a long time. I usually buy secondhand, but I went to Goodwill and they were like as expensive as new jeans. I'm like, wow, I guess I'm not buying secondhand anymore.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I also hadn't bought any new jeans in a really, really long time till beginning of this year, and I think Old Navy is great.
Okay.
Yeah, Old Navy jeans. I like Old Navy jeans.
How much are Old Navy jeans though?
I think I paid just like $30 for my one pair I bought earlier this year.
Okay.
I wanted to like wear them around.
Yeah, they're
see if I
not.
really
It's
like
not
them when I do.
$100. It's not like $100.
I mean, the ones I'm
pair
wearing
of
were
jeans.
13. So
Well,
Yeah,
still.
you're probably not beating that. Maybe if you got like on the outlet or whatever, you know, like the
Yeah, they might have an outlet. Yeah.
But like 10 used to be my baseline at the Goodwill. Right, I have a very nice pair of jeans for $10. I'm there, but all the prices of Goodwill are like $20. I'm like, whoa.
Wow. Okay.
It's been that long since I went shopping for jeans, and now they're way too expensive at secondhand.
Yeah, I had this really weird place where I only knew skinny jeans, and I started to dislike them, and everybody started to dislike them at the same time. It's like whenever I saw myself wearing them, I thought I look like I'm poor and old. I don't know how to explain it. It's just because very quickly it went from being the only jeans that were cool to wear to everybody was wearing like these hideous giant jeans. So I had to find what I actually still liked, but also didn't look like basically if I showed up wearing like harem pants or something like, you know, like clearly 80s, like it just would be like, what are you doing wearing 80s pants? That's how I felt every time I wore skinny jeans. Like, you're out of place. You're from another time. You look like you came from 2010.
Okay.
So
that's fair. And I'm a kid of the 90s, so like baggy is always better. I don't know how people slide into skinny jeans at all. It seems like the most uncomfortable thing ever.
There are some that are done well.
I don't. There's no way. I've never once. My skinny jeans don't look skinny on, so it's
right. You're bigger than me, but I'm not a small dude either. So
have you ever worn skinny jeans?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because they just look terrible and look uncomfortable. I'm painter's cut, boot cut, anything loose fitting.
There are times that they still look good, like especially like in the fall, stuffed into boots. I like that look, but there are a lot of times when they just look so bad. Like anytime with sneakers, I'm like, how were we ever wearing this? That is weird looking.
And I also feel generally that guys, unless you're like trouncing through the mud, right, should have their jeans over their boots. Like that's, you don't tuck your jeans in your boots. It's not cool, man.
Basically, I went with like boot cut and straight leg. That looks great. That's what I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
And I like that a lot. Yeah, I can't really tell I'm sitting on them. But in the news a lot recently, and we're going to have to continue to get into this in the next break, but I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this, and it's a lot less stupid and like, you know, frivolous than the Sydney Sweeney thing. I didn't really have anything else to say about that. I just think dumb people are going to be dumb, and they also are all parroting each other like, it's Nazi propaganda. You didn't think of that. You just heard other people say it. But this is an opinion piece from the New York Times that people have been passing around with a really terrifying title. It says, donor organs are too rare. we need a new definition of death.
Yeah.
Too rare. We need to cook them to medium.
Nope. See, and again, I had an article similar that they were starting the harvest process before people were actually dead.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, this just confirms the reason why I'm not an organ donor.
Yep.
Like, I will never be an organ donor. So I'm like, save my life, please. Don't think about the 5 lives you can save, once I'm dead.
Yeah.
Please.
Save. Some rich guy paid for that heart already, man. What are you doing? You're in the way. Rockefeller's paid for that heart 2 weeks ago. They knew you were coming in.
Yeah, he's got like 9 at his age.
Yeah, he's had like 9, but you're in his way. Like, what are you doing? You're being selfish, man.
Right. That's fine. I'm fine. I'm all about me. I'm selfish. You don't get it. And and I can't be swayed otherwise.
Yeah, but he built a new hospital, man. The hospital's already signed that.
It's almost like you think you own your heart.
I do. And if they want to let me die and then like let it decompose and bury it, fine, right? But you're not getting it for somebody else. Not as long as I have, something to say about it.
I just don't want to have to be conscious while I'm getting cut into and my organs are getting harvested. That's terrifying.
Even the black market people put you out. You just wake up with stitches.
But it's been a reality for many people, and now we know it's actually true, because just for some reason coming out in the news, and RFK put out this study that he said that he found, like, okay, we've seen now that many of the top hospitals are taking people's organs before they're dead. That's a huge problem. That's not a small problem at all. That's a really big deal.
Confirmed my fears.
What do they mean by we need a new definition of death? More on this, more Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live, 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. Much of this week was dominated by one word: tariffs. The Friday, August 1st deadline forced countries to make last-minute deals with the US to try and avoid crippling duties on exported goods. But just ahead of that deadline, US President Donald Trump announced new tariff rates ranging from 10 to 41%, but giving countries another 7 days before those rates come into effect. Ever since Jagruti Dave sent this report from Washington, D.C.
Among the dozens of countries hit with new duties, Switzerland was surprised to find it had been slapped with a 39% tariff, and Canada said it was disappointed by Trump's 35% levy. The White House says its strategy will bring in more foreign investment to the US, but experts warn of higher costs for American businesses and consumers.
Countries were left trying to work out what their rate meant. Taiwan called theirs of 20% temporary, with Taipei still hoping to strike a deal. FSN's Laura Westbrook sent this report from Hong Kong.
Speaking in Taipei, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te called the new levy temporary and says it's too early to say it represents a failure. He said the main reason the two countries had failed to reach an agreement by US President Donald Trump's August 1st deadline was that procedural arrangements had not allowed them to complete a summary meeting for the negotiations. He added Taiwan is willing to have more talks, with the final goal being a reasonable rate that has a minimal impact on the electronics industry.
In contrast, the European Trade Commissioner praised the 15% deal that was struck with Washington ahead of the August 1st deadline. FSN's William Denslow sent this report from Brussels.
In a social media post, European Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič said the trade deal signed with Washington will restore trust in the transatlantic economy. He says that EU exporters will benefit from a more competitive position, but a number of European leaders say the framework agreement is lopsided. The 15% baseline tariff is lower than the 30% the US had threatened, but the EU had originally pushed for a zero-for-zero agreement.
During the week, Canada and the United Kingdom announced plans to recognise a Palestinian state in September. Those countries followed a similar announcement from France, the three nations trying to put pressure on Israel to end its military campaign in the enclave. FSN's Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney announced Wednesday that Canada will recognize a Palestinian state in September as long as the Palestinian Authority holds elections next year without Hamas and agrees to a demilitarized state. The move makes Canada the third G7 country to announce plans to recognize a Palestinian state within the last week, joining France and the UK as international pressure mounts on Israel over the starvation crisis in Gaza.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. A tsunami warning issued this week for parts of the US West Coast and Japan was downgraded quickly after a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake off of Russia's east coast sparked widespread concern about potential impacts across the Pacific. After the downgrading, officials said that coastal areas should still remain cautious for any further activity. Ira Spitzer sent this report from the US West Coast from the city of San Francisco.
One of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded struck deep beneath the Pacific Ocean near eastern Russia, triggering tsunami warnings across the region, including in Japan, the Hawaiian Islands, and the U.S. West Coast. Waves over a meter high were recorded in California and Hawaii, but caused minimal damage. Still, emergency officials are urging residents to stay alert, particularly near harbors and beaches, due to the potential for strong currents and any more aftershocks.
There was worrying new data for the United States on Friday that showed job growth slowing dramatically in recent months. Unemployment also rose slightly, all of it raising questions about the overall strength of the US economy. FSN's Mitch McCann pored over the numbers and sent this report from New York.
The US economy added 73,000 jobs in the month of July, well below analysts' expectations of 100,000 jobs. At the same time, job growth for the previous 2 months was revised down by a total of 258,000, an unexpectedly high number. The slowdown may indicate that the job market is much weaker than previously thought and that American employers are adopting a wait-and-see approach to the president's tariffs before making hiring decisions. The data shows employment in the US government continued to decline by another 12,000 jobs, and professional services and business services lost 14,000 jobs. Meanwhile, the US unemployment rate ticked up slightly to 4.2%.
And that's the Week in Review. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
I just got off the phone with New York. We are the #1 network in the world. And it is an honor to stand before you at such an exciting time. We're stretching boundaries that will irreparably alter people's perception of what they are willing to watch. And our next season will offer tantalizing programming that plays seamlessly into the desire of our viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you just a taste of what ODS has to offer.
You know the rules. Grow a pumpkin or go home. Here's the twist. Only one of you has the real pumpkin seeds.
Are you a pumpkin or not?
You call yourselves pumpkin growers?
I know I didn't get the pumpkin seeds. I dug in there. They're bean sprouts.
Starting a pumpkin alliance. Anyone grows a pumpkin, we split the money.
Get out of my patch.
This is the Onion News Network.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. And 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny Liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Richie Rich.
And in the last segment, we just started talking about this New York Times opinion piece where they're saying that because there aren't enough donor organs, we need a new definition of death. Really open-ended, creepy title, so I really want to get into what they mean by that. But first, Free Talk Live is an open phones talk radio show where you can call in and change the subject and talk about whatever you want to talk about. So 603-283-6160 is that phone number. And Skeeter from California, you're on Free Talk Live. Skeeter, what's on your mind?
You know, Richie Rich is Eden. It's the local junior high.
I think you're mixing it up with Turd.
And you know, you guys were mentioning like beauty preferences. You know, even those are objective. Did you realize that?
I believe we said that there's an objective component to it, but that there's also a subjective component to it.
You can't, if Richie Rich is just really into girls with blonde hair, you can't argue with him that he's not. Okay, whatever.
My buddy once told me, he's like, Rich, I know your type. I'm like, what's my type? He's like, you like tall, white, ugly chicks.
Tall, white, ugly chicks, he said that before. It's funny.
Right, and that's what he said. And, you know, maybe. I've never really had the opportunity to date one like that, so. But when I see him on the street, I'm like, he's pretty cute.
Brock Lesnar needs a dad, bro.
No, thank you.
Let me point to
like I don't want to date anyone related to Brock Lesnar because I don't want to get my butt kicked by Brock Lesnar.
Well, I just mean like, you know, big white ugly women are gonna have Brock Lesnar kids, and somebody out there
he does. His daughter looks exactly like him.
Yeah, and she's dating that defensive lineman in the NFL,
which
now.
makes sense because he can probably stand up to Brock Lesnar.
And they're gonna pop out another one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I looked up the guy. Brock Lesnar.
Look up his daughter, Maya Lesnar.
Look up his mom. After that, look up his mom. We got to see. There's got to be a trend.
Oh, okay. I have seen these people on the internet before, where people are like, "Whoa, that is the same person."
It's uncanny. And she's athletic. And if she starts training MMA,
she just looks like a mom.
Oh, okay. His mom just looks normal. I thought you were saying
like a mom. Oh, I was just expecting somebody built like Brock Lesnar is gonna have to have like a.
Maybe he got it from his dad.
Oh, that was the daughter's mom. She was kind of like this hot. Porn star kind of like wrestler chick.
Oh yeah, those
hair.
two put together for sure.
Is that his? I thought. Okay, I'm not clear about that. That's Sable. She's definitely hot. Definitely a crush when I was in high school.
Boring.
But I don't know if that's Maya's. I don't know if that's Maya's mother.
Oh, I don't know. I could be wrong.
I guess. Maya might be from a previous relationship.
I didn't even know who this guy was until we started this conversation. So let's ask Turd about his dumb opinions that are extremely easy to disprove, and we already did, really.
She said turd.
My name is Little Skeet, not Turd.
Sorry, Turd. I meant to say... I'm apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing to Turd for mixing him up with Skeeter.
You can call me Skeet Meat.
No, thank you.
Look, preferences are... Preferences, you can't control your preferences. You're a slave to your preferences.
That makes them subjective.
Yeah, but what's dumb about what he's trying to say is he's trying to say, it's objective that I am attracted to blonde or whatever.
Yeah.
That's so dumb. Yeah, that doesn't make that
makes everything subjective objective if you narrow it down to an individual level.
I'm just saying that there's a major... Well, I'm just talking about the subjective theory of value, where your mind is what determines value. You control value. That's what they say. That's all I'm saying. But
so you agree with the subjective theory of value?
No, I'm arguing against how stupid it is. I'm showing you what it really says, right? It says that you make the judgment on what value is.
I don't see why that's stupid.
What value is.
That seems reasonable to everybody, but you.
There's a difference between determining value and perceiving value. One is a passive event, which is when you perceive value. Determining is an active event, right? It's like,
but it's also an individual event. Even if it's active, it's individual.
It
has to meet a need or a want of my own person.
No. There's another term called relative, right? Like multivariable, like it's a multivariable equation, like gravity, right? So gravity would be relative to the mass of the gravitational force between two objects is dependent upon the mass of the two objects, right? And in the case of two people, it depends on their mass, but not on their minds. That's the key difference in the subjective theory of value, which you keep.
I don't think anybody considers gravity to be subjective.
Yeah, the way you define it just now, it's dependent upon the person, right?
Not gravity, but value. How does someone value gravity?
So
like, oh man, I really can't wait to get to the moon.
The gravitational,
because I'm a fatty, and I'll be lighter up there.
Yeah. The gravitational force between the two fatties right there must be immense, right? Ricky Rick and Richie Rich, right?
Ricky Rick.
It's dependent upon your mass, not
in
your
Pennsylvania.
Mind. That's the. But you have to understand, Mises had an ulterior motive, right? He was trying to create a value system that empowered the individual consumer.
Okay.
That's why he wanted the mind to actively determine value. Like, you say what's good for you.
I'm pretty sure that the subjective theory of value predates the Austrian school.
No, I'm talking about the modern subjective value theory that Mises adopted, that Mises manipulated, and now the modern Austrian school adopts.
Okay.
Right. He refined it to be even more subjective than it already is. That's why they call the school the psychological school.
I'm still not finding a contradiction just because he had an ulterior motive.
You're full of contradictions.
If he had an ulterior motive and the evidence pointed him in that direction, that confirmed his hypothesis. That happens in science.
So when value is, so he feared the consequences of an objective value theory, because once a value is measurable and objective, right, then someone else can tell someone what's good for them. And it leads to the possibility of central planning or planning for others aggressively for their benefit.
Right. But I think what we've seen, what we have evidence of is central planning doesn't work, right? Individual liberty tends to work better than central planning for the benefit of the individual.
No, it doesn't.
And so his theory is confirmed.
No, it doesn't. His theory is the concept of the economic central planning. The ECP is totally weak. It's a weak statement. It actually proves nothing, right?
Except that there's evidence of its failure in real life history.
No, there isn't. Right? He identified the wrong problem. Well, he mentions it a little bit, like.
No, he wrote a whole book on it called the Economic Calculation in the Socialist Commonwealth.
Yeah, and it's wrong, right? It's totally wrong, right?
It demonstrates why you need freedom, because the central planners fail to meet the needs of all the people they're planning for.
He misidentified the problem. The problem is the PCP, right? The profit calculation problem, not that central planning, the central calculation problem, economic calculation problem, which is central planning. Right? That's not the problem. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with central planning as long as your incentives are aligned with, production. Like when you're aligned with profit.
That statement sounds good in theory, but never plays out.
Yes, it does. All you have to do to correct incentives, like orchestras work better with a conductor, right? Armies work better on a top-down scale. So in corporations, it's centrally planned, right? But the reason why corporations work is that the votes aren't uniformly distributed. They're distributed on how much each investor put in.
The reason corporations work is because they have a desire to benefit their customers.
I'm not done with the argument. And so number one, so the two problems with democracy is the uniform distribution of votes, and in the case of a corporation, it's distributed proportionally based upon their investment. And number two, most importantly, is that all the voters feel the consequences of their vote. Not like in democracy where you can just advocate for anything, distribute the cost, socially distribute the cost, and not experience the cost, both the cost and benefits of your decisions.
I don't think anybody in this room is going to support democracy.
I'm talking about the real problem with democracy. It's not centralized planning. You're always going to have some measure of centralization. That's natural. The Pareto distribution, like in my system, where you distribute votes based upon how much money you have and how much productivity you have in the past, right? You can expect a Pareto distribution, which is uneven, right? 80% of the decision-making should be done by the wealthy.
I don't see what that has to do with the incentives of corporations versus incentives of central planned governments.
I just showed you the difference, why one works and why one doesn't, and why Mises is wrong.
And I would suggest that your rationale is wrong then. And the reason corporations work is because they're incentivized to buy the profit motive. You may be correct there, but there are also nonprofits that do just fine, right? So it can't all be profit.
No, you're wrong on that too.
No,
you're wrong on that too. What percent? How many nonprofits are on the top 500 companies?
What difference does it make?
What did he ask?
They're not going out of business.
Yeah, they're probably helped out with tax incentives and stuff. Without those,
that's true.
They even compete at a worse level, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that all of them do. There are self-sustained nonprofits.
No,
and they don't. And their goal is not to be the top 500 corporations in the world. That's not their mission. Right? They're not motivated purely by profit. They have operational.
It doesn't matter the motivation. Do they?
In your system, it does. Because you said that everything has to be profit driven, and they're not.
What was he saying about the number 500 company?
How many nonprofits are in the top 500 corporations in the world?
I'm just saying.
As if it matters.
I'm just saying their choice doesn't matter in their stability, right? So it does matter in my system, but their choice.
No, you can have a local dog shelter that just doesn't want to be a 4-kill shelter, and they take in as much money as they can through donations to get people to adopt pets. And they don't have to be a top 500 corporation to do that. Their mission is secure. Their funding is secure.
But if Monsanto could make more money with the 4
and they get all the dogs.
4-kill dog shelter, then they get all the dogs.
And let me finish with one thing, right? What also inhibits central planning is privacy, right? If we got rid of privacy and distribute information freely, central planners can plan more effectively. And let me just say one more thing.
Don't care.
ECP,
still don't want that. Actually, want it less.
You can set up all the variables to support central planning that you need.
You want them,
but they don't work in real life.
Bonnie, right?
What?
You're working under.
By the way, about central planning, it's Obama's birthday tomorrow.
When you advocate for privacy, right? You're falling under the democratic spell, right? The fact that you don't have to bear the cost of what you advocate for, all the deaths, all the murder, all the crime, all the fraud, all the Madoff victims, all these people, even Ian is in prison because of privacy, right? Maybe.
No, he's not. He's in prison because they want privacy to not be a thing. Like the exact opposite of what you're saying.
No, if there was no privacy, those old ladies would have never gotten scammed, right?
Well, they didn't get scammed by Ian.
Right? What's that?
They didn't get scammed by Ian.
If there was no privacy at all, period, it's just ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous if, because he would be trying to do things with privacy, like outside of the system, like he was doing anyway. So there wouldn't be a situation where there's just no such thing as privacy at all, and Ian didn't try to get around the rule. So
and you to presume that people only get scammed because of lack of privacy or because of privacy is also ridiculous. Some people get scammed because they don't want to do the research necessary, like the information's out there.
No. Imagine the society where everybody sees what everyone's doing. So not only does the victim see what the scammer's trying to do, and it's not relying on just his ability to detect the fraud. Everybody's watching what's happening.
And you can take this as anecdotal.
Everybody's watching everybody's.
You can take this as anecdotal because it's just
the neighbor of the scammers watching the scammer do it. Imagine everybody watching.
That's
this.
not even possible. How could you possibly be watching everything your neighbor is doing just because privacy didn't exist?
Take this as anecdotal because it's just a one-off case. But there was like a post on Reddit some years ago, and it was a lonely guy who knew that he was getting scammed with like a local hookup date meetup. He's like, I knew this was a scam, but I was so lonely that I just kept falling for it. So like I bought the Uber, I went to the place, I sent her more money. Every step of the way, like I knew I was getting scammed. I was just hoping beyond hope that this was the real thing because I was really lonely that night, right? And I didn't want to believe that I was getting scammed.
Did he get like stood up at a date, or is that
of course.
what he means by Uber? Oh.
Yeah, like they said, come, send me $50, come to my house. And then, oh no, send me 10 more bucks and I'll give you the address. Right. And then you go knock on the door and it was like not the right person.
I believe it because that guy that Ian interviewed that he found out the guy was getting scammed and he ceased doing business with that guy and he interviewed him on Free Talk Live. He was like, yeah, and I still text her right now and she really bugs me. He was saying about a scammer that was probably a man in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Or India.
He was just confusing himself or convincing himself.
This is my last thing.
Why?
You can't.
No.
You can't stop information, right? It gets cheaper to acquire, store, and disseminate, and just as expensive to suppress over time. You can't stop it. The only thing that's preventing it from being disseminated right now at this moment is government law.
That's a really dumb sentence. You can't stop information.
What's preventing information from getting out there is responsible people taking responsibility for their own lives and doing things necessary to maintain their own privacy.
That's like
which is the only way it should be.
The only reason that people can't see you getting naked is because of windows, coverings on people's windows, but it will one day prevail. The image of your naked body when you take a shower is going to get out there because you can't stop it. Like there's just
you wouldn't be able to wear clothes because clothing is a privacy mechanism to hide your body.
Yeah, and whatever you have in your pockets.
Curtains. All the your walls would be translucent so everyone could see through. It'd be glass houses everywhere.
And we'd have to have those translucent backpacks kids have to wear into school now.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't even be able to do that. You wouldn't put your stuff in a backpack because no one's going to steal it. You just keep the stuff at the school wide open.
That's ridiculous.
It's nonsense.
It literally is nonsense. It's just like, I hate when he's like, and now imagine if, like,
right.
What if, okay? Like, it's like something that'll never happen.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, his theory relies on so many impractical, inopportune things to even have a remote possibility of coming to fruition that it's not worth considering as realistic.
Well, and if you asked him, I bet he'd have curtains on his windows. Everybody else's house would be see-through. But Skeeter would make sure he still had his windows because he understands how the system's supposed to work, guys. Trust him. It's all working out.
Evolution would choose him as the only one that gets privacy in his bathroom.
Practice what you preach, man. Just walk outside naked.
Yeah.
No privacy.
I wonder if he ever leaves the basement anyway.
No.
Naked or not.
No. It would have to be a see-through
it.
basement. You couldn't have a basement because that's underground, right? You'd have to like raise that up so people can see it.
Or dig up all the dirt and replace it with clear gel. So people can see in his basement.
You'd have to be able to see into the basement.
So that's a boring Skeeter call as usual. Just all of his calls are boring. I tried not to be yelling over. That's something that I'm really trying to not do anymore because it's like it's not fun to listen to, and I get that. It's just he's so you let him talk as much as you want, and it still means nothing. It's boring, and he just demands you accept certain things that he's saying are facts, and
that's why I stop him, right? Because he builds an argument off false premises, and you have to stop the false premises before the argument is built. Otherwise, it's a waste of breath to go through the whole argument, right? Because you haven't gotten to an agreeable point to start from, right? And you destroy him at that base level before he builds entire nonsense on top of that.
I mostly meant like I was just trying, like listening, but letting you guys talk it out so there's not like three people talking the whole time. Anytime I just couldn't help myself and started yelling at him, it was like at least he continues to talk, and he's bad at that. So at the beginning of this episode and the end of, the beginning of this segment and the end of last segment, we started teasing this New York Times opinion piece from, it says a guest essay. I don't know who wrote it though. It doesn't say.
News source, either way.
Oh, by Sandeep Jawahar. I can't say the rest of these names. And Dean Smith. Oh, thanks. Dean Smith. That's easy.
Dean Smith et al.
Yeah, shout out Dean.
Oh my gosh, yep. Those other ones were too much for me. I shouldn't even try the first one I did. So it says Dr. Jahar is a cardiologist at Northwell Health in New York, where Dr. Patel, the other one, the first name is hard, but Patel's easy, and Dr. Smith are the directors of the Center for Heart Failure and Transplant. So these people have interest in this.
Okay.
It's not like they're just, people on the sides, on the sidelines that aren't.
We could have
involved.
saved more lives if only we could harvest hearts before they die.
It's weird. It's weird to think that it's okay to say that. So it says.
That's why they're not saying it. Like, we just need to redefine death. That's all.
We need a new definition of death. That's such a weird thing to say. So it says, people die in many ways, but in medicine, there are only two reasons a person can be declared dead. Either the heart has stopped or the brain has ceased to function, even if the heart is still beating. A person may serve...
So Skeeter's dead.
Because he has no heart?
No, because his brain stopped working.
Oh. Yeah, I guess he has a heart because he fell in love with AI last week.
ChatGPT gets me.
Oh my god, so weird. A person may serve as an organ donor only after being declared dead. Until then, transplant surgeons are not allowed to even interact with a dying patient. Well, good.
BS?
Keep them away from me.
BS?
Really?
Well, again, I've got the separate headline that says there's dozens of cases where they started the process before they were dead.
That's a good point because that's been coming out. Like RFK Jr. said that there has been studies where they're showing that they're doing this.
Right.
So they're not allowed to is true.
Okay.
But they're doing
it anyway.
This commonsensical rule underpins organ donation in the United States and many other countries. Most donor organs today are obtained after brain death, defined by most state laws as a condition of permanent unconsciousness with no spontaneous breathing, no response to pain, and no primitive reflexes. In other words, devastation of the whole brain.
What if they're just there enjoying the best dream ever?
Oh my gosh.
Like it's I like taking naps because like the dream world is so much better than reality.
But you breathe in your sleep.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But you don't know that they're not, right?
I think it's like a long time of no breathing and no response to pain. I think you'd wake up to that too.
Oh no, I think they are breathing. It's just their brain has ceased to function. So there's no like gasping.
It says no spontaneous breathing, but maybe that's a
spontaneous would be like.
Okay.
I feel like instead of like rhythmically breathing.
Well, there's more Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live.
Shrinkflation was bad enough. Now skimpflation? I'm Holland Cook with Inflation Hacks. As the cereal box got thinner, Merriam-Webster Dictionary added the word shrinkflation. But at least you can see it by looking at unit price. Now an invisible ripoff. Skimpflation. When Smart Balance Spread reduced the share of vegetable oil by 40%, one customer complained that it spits all over when frying an egg and doesn't melt on toast. Maker Conagra quickly, quote, heard the feedback and decided to return to previous recipes. So it pays to squawk if, for instance, that 1,000-sheet roll of Scott toilet paper feels thinner. One shopper who weighed it and found it 20% lighter posted that quality has gone down the toilet. How are you coping? Post your inflation hacks at andyoucanquoteme.com.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. US Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, is visiting Gaza on Friday to inspect food distribution sites and discuss the starvation crisis, as President Trump says the US will work with Israel to get more food into the Strip. Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is visiting Gaza on Friday along with Ambassador Mike Huckabee. The White House says they will inspect food distribution sites, work to secure plans for more food delivery, and meet with Palestinians to hear about the hunger situation firsthand. Reports have suggested that they will visit food distribution sites run by the controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Sites run by the group have been the scene of regular incidents of deadly violence in which the UN says Palestinians seeking aid have been shot and killed by both Israeli forces and the American military contractors guarding the sites. Blake Sifton, Tel Aviv.
India is reportedly weighing diplomatic steps to appease the White House amid a surprise US announcement of 25% tariffs on Indian goods. Reports suggest New Delhi is exploring import boosts, not retaliation, to keep trade talks alive, but it has vowed to protect its labour-intensive agricultural sector at all costs. Kshitij Nagar reports from New Delhi.
India was caught off guard by President Trump's surprise 25% tariff declaration, according to a report by Bloomberg. Reports claim India is now considering proposals to increase US imports, including energy, electronics and communication equipment, to try and ease bilateral tensions, but has ruled out any immediate retaliatory measures. Opposition parties have criticized the Indian government's handling of the issue in the ongoing parliament session. Rahul Gandhi from India's main opposition party, the Congress, described the situation as a blow to India's broader foreign and economic policy direction. However, India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India will not work on any trade deal that jeopardizes the country's agricultural interests, even as formal talks continue with the US trade officials. US negotiators are expected to arrive in New Delhi in mid-August to continue talks for a mini trade deal. Kshitij Nagar, New Delhi.
Meanwhile, Pakistan says it's reached a trade deal with the United States. The confirmation comes after US President Donald Trump said that the two countries have signed a deal to jointly develop Pakistan's oil reserves. Hira Mustafa has more.
Pakistan's finance ministry says the agreement includes a reduction in reciprocal tariffs with particular benefits for Pakistani exports. The exact scale of tariff relief has not been made public. Washington has also made no reference to tariffs being part of this deal. But officials in Islamabad claim the US has agreed to ease tariffs against Pakistan in a bid to strengthen ties. However, exact details of the trade deal will remain under wraps for now. Hira Mustafa, Islamabad.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call into the show and bring up anything that's on your mind. You can call 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. And are you tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites? Our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Social.freetalklive.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Richie Rich.
And we were talking in the last segment about when is death officially death, and when can the organ surgeons take your, or transplant surgeons take your organs?
Never
for me. And it's never been ever, because I never had organ donor on my license plate, because I've always been creeped out by this.
Yep.
And I got literally basically badgered by a friend of mine whose dad, I think he was a doctor, I don't really know, he was in the medical field, and they were all like, if you even remotely act like there's a conspiracy at all involving the medical field, you're like an enemy to us. That's how they acted. And I was like, yeah, I heard this idea that they will take your organs even when you're not exactly dead if you're in a car accident and stuff, and they were mad at me and trying to convince me it wasn't true, and I didn't get my license for 3 years later, and I was still nope.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're totally against it. Now, I've heard people propose the option, right, where if you're not an organ donor and you need an organ, back of the line. Fair. Seems fair to me.
Yeah.
Right, a good deal. If that's all it takes, then good, I'm out, and then that'll be the risk that I'm willing to take And, you know, if I don't need an organ, fine. But then if I get into an accident, you save my life.
How do they do it now, though?
Yeah, how does the order come? Just first come, first server?
I don't know. You get put on the list. I don't know if it's first come, first serve, or, you know, like you mentioned, if you've got some money. Right?
Yeah,
if Rockefeller can get 9 hearts, he's cutting the line in front of somebody.
That's gross.
Whatever.
I saw the meme the other day that had his face, and it said, like, this man has had, like, I think it's 6 people's human beings' hearts in his body. It's time to, like, let it go, man.
Yeah, because he's like
disgusting.
99 and had one recently.
He looks nasty,
They're
too.
just keeping him alive.
It's kind of gross just to think of the way he treats hearts just like, dishware. I don't know.
Well, and where'd he get those? Were those people still
Underwear.
alive? How out of those 6 people, how
knowing
many
it's
of them,
him.
Yeah. Or were they just harvested off some kid in a third world country? Did he just pay, give me a new one, here's, fly it in?
Does he get a new language every time? Like, there are all these stories where it's like somebody gets a transplant and then they get, like, suddenly they can speak language they could never speak, and it was because of the person who gave them whatever organ it was.
Interesting.
And it doesn't have to be like tongue. I don't even know if you can transplant tongue, but it doesn't have to be that. It's like, it can be some random organ. When I was a kid, one of the best, but oh my God, way too sad books we were forced to read in school was called Searching for David's Heart, I think is what it's called. And it's this girl whose older brother dies. It's really insanely sad. And she somehow she is able to figure out who got his heart. And she finds him, and it like, it's like closure. I don't know.
All right. That's, again, all fine. As long as it's voluntary, not being harvested prematurely.
I think the idea is like, and the boy kind of acted like David. I don't know.
Well, that makes me think, what's that story? My Sister's Keeper, where they had that whole extra daughter as like a donor daughter, and she was just used as extra parts for her super sick older sister.
Ew. Okay.
And like the entire expectation of like the younger sister was like to donate a kidneys to save her sister. And
that's what they said that the King of England or Diana's kids. He said that they would even call him the Spare. Andrew said that they would call him the Spare. Or I always mix up which is which, Andrew and
Harry. There
we go.
Okay.
Which everyone who's married to Meghan Markle claims that his other brother was supposed to be the heir, so they would call him Spare because, like, if the other one needed an organ, they were going to take his organs.
All right.
Isn't that gross?
Yeah, well, that doesn't sound very consensual.
Well, yeah, but it's also England. So.
And they're royals.
Well, I know that My Sister's Keeper, the real life story was in America, and she had to sue her parents to get autonomy over her body. So does that mean, how does that work with children? Can their parents just make that decision for those? I guess they can.
This is a question for Bonnie, because Bonnie says they can own your kids.
That's pretty difficult. Like, if a child doesn't want to give away their kidney to their sister and it's the only option for the other sister, can the parents make that choice? That's really, really difficult, because the thing is, I said that children are their parents' property, but it like slowly drops over time. Like, you would never say that a parent can be telling their like 16-year-old that every single thing they have to eat. And I totally agree, it's not right, because when they are 3, you can.
Okay.
It slowly drops over time. And
so at what age can they make the
that's what I'm
decision?
saying. I'm the opposite of at what age, because I never say it's a specific age. I think some people's kids, even if they're not like retarded, would have to gain the trust from their parents to like use a knife later than the next person's kids. Some people's kids are probably going to be using a knife at like 5, and then some people's kids are probably going to be like 10 by the time they like the parents entrust them the ability and they see that they're ready. So that's what I'm saying. It's not, at this exact age, everybody gets the same things.
Sure. I mean, it's currently the realm of science fiction, but what about a clone?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you clone yourself to harvest organs, does it have any rights?
What rights do they have? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is going to be another really difficult one for people. If people can't even figure out kids, we can't agree on kids.
Just do it in China.
Clone people. China's already cloned a human being. If they've
that's what I'm saying.
If they've shown us that they've cloned sheep, and like the world knows that they've done that, and that was like a big, they've totally already cloned humans. That's been there, done that, probably since like the early 2000s.
Sure, but like we haven't heard any stories of rich people using their clones for body harvesting, right? But I
wouldn't publicize that.
Well, but it's like the legality is going to come up in the future. It's going to be a thing once that technology gets out there, more into the mainstream.
Once it becomes attainable for the average rich person, instead of like a Saudi prince level of money.
Okay, so Saudi prince to clone himself and harvest organs.
Well, I just mean he's probably already done it. They've probably already done it.
All right.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's did happen.
All right.
This isn't exactly what you're saying, like a full-grown clone, but it says in late 2018, Chinese scientist He Jiankyu announced that he had created the world's first gene-edited babies, twin girls he referred to as Lulu and Nana, and later a third baby, Amy. While this involved altering the genes of human embryos, according to MIT Technology Review, genetic engineering is not the same as cloning. Okay, so he claimed that, but he was wrong. And then he went to jail because there was some kind of government ban on experimenting on human embryos. So, well,
there's your problem. Government
I think he's
interfering
been released
again.
already. I think he's out of jail.
Oh, okay.
It was more of like a
China jail or Chinese jail?
China was like, we have to arrest you, but check out this lab we bought you at your prison. You know, like
interesting.
Or lab-grown
theory.
humans, right? If you can do all that from the embryo or for whatever, and not need a actual mother to
I want
carry
to
the
know
baby.
if Christians will argue that clones have
Souls. Yeah.
I really want to know.
But you can get your own stem cells and then regrow body parts in a
That's the
petri
word I was looking
dish
for,
now.
stem cell, yeah.
You can get like a ACL injury and you can get your stem cells and they'll regrow you an ACL and make sure all those cells come out to be your ACL and
So
they'll
you-
just
so
pop
if you're
that right
rich-
back in there. Yeah.
If you're rich, you can preemptively grow yourself an extra heart just in case.
But is that everything? Like every
I
single
don't know
part
if
of your
they've
body?
reached like
I don't know.
the level to a heart, but for like pro players.
Okay.
Well, we have a caller on the line. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's pretty nifty. I remember that surgery used to have to like cut your knee open, like completely, and now you just do like a little incision and they'll just pop a new one right back in there. It's like a
your
1-inch
knee.
scar. Yeah.
So we have a caller on the line, unscreened caller, and it doesn't seem to have the number saved with us. So what's on your mind, caller?
Well, the New Testament says that the high priest paid Judas Iscariot 30 pieces of silver. It doesn't say what kind they are, whether they're shekels or whatever, of silver, to help them capture Yeshua. Now, if you take a look at today, nowadays, Donald Trump says you get a bonus of up to $50,000 if you sign up to help Immigration and Customs Enforcement capture innocent migrants. Now, for the benefit of any dummies out there who wonder how can they be innocent when they're breaking the law by coming into the United States, the government never had any authority to stop them. They're not violating anybody's rights. Liberty is an unalienable right, which preempts the rule of law by definition, and liberty is the freedom to do whatever does not violate anybody's rights. So they have a right to move in here. They have as much right to enter the United States as United States people who are coming back from a trip. Okay, so anyway,
And I pointed out before, and I'll point it out again, immigration is not a constitutional issue. It's not a federal purview. It doesn't appear anywhere in the Constitution.
that's right. And the morons say, oh, yes, it is under naturalization.
Totally
That's
different thing.
That's correct. And what about interstate commerce and international commerce? Well, that's the jet plane, yeah, but not wading across a river. Now, before you sign up and take that bait there, I would remind you of what Yeshua says in the Gospel of Matthew, where it's very clear he's the dude that's going to be doing the judging on Judgment Day, not his dad. Okay, and in Matthew chapter 25, verse 40, he says, "Inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of my brethren, you did it to me." Okay, so you're talking about capturing people and forcing them onto aircraft bound for South Sudan or Eswatini or any place else, the third world wretched places, then you're just as guilty. And as he says in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 8, verse 36, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? So you got to think about that before you take the bait that the president is offering nowadays. There's another similarity here I want to bring up.
I think that presumes the president's a Christian who reads the Bible.
Well, he claims he is all the time.
Sure. I mean, you got the Trump Bible, but I don't know how good that thing is.
The Trump Bible, is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind that Hermann Goering and his wife had a baby girl in 1938, and she was baptized by.
Bonnie just Googled Trump Bible.
God bless the USA Bible.
She was baptized by the bishop of the Evangelical Church in Germany, and Adolf Hitler was the godfather. So, people like that can consider themselves Christian, and I'm not judging them. I'm just saying a reference point there.
Okay.
Now, when the taxi companies had a cartel going on where the city government was capping the number of, and still does cap the number of medallions that would issue. And so if you wanted to drive taxi, you would go to jail if you dared to drive a taxi that didn't have a limited edition medallion. And
And in New York, those medallions are like 6 figures, and you got to buy them from somebody who already has one.
What are the medallions?
The license to drive a taxi.
Then you would have to rent a taxi from somebody who owns a medallion, and you have to pay them a whole lot of money. And so they're sponging off the workers. Along came the rideshare companies, Uber and Lyft, and they became popular before. They didn't say, hi, we need to find out what regulations we got to comply with. It was an app on your phone, and it just got popular, and it became so obviously beautiful that by the time the bureaucrats are getting around to what can we do to put a stop to this, they didn't want to put a stop to it. They were worried about losing a lot of votes on election day if they did that. So, and they might like these rideshare companies because they cost less than taking a taxi. So a lot of taxi medallion owners lost everything because they mortgaged their house to buy the medallions, and then the medallions became worthless, and they were mortgaging on the medallions and borrowing. But when you lose everything because of more liberty, then the saying is, well, that's what happened when slaves were emancipated. Some people lost everything, so what? Now, what I'm getting at here is what we got the city governments had to sit down with the rideshare companies and say, look, we're reasonable here. Okay, it's not going to be a numerical limit, but we still don't want people driving around in junk cars with bad brakes and bald tires. And what if you're driving a taxi or a rideshare and you crash into somebody and they sue you? You don't have any money. Why should they be out? So they're requiring insurance, which has the injustice built into it that the insurance companies are making money, and also the good drivers really aren't getting a fair price because you're trying your best to avoid a crash, and you're paying for crashes caused by people who intentionally go faster than the speed limit and cross the double yellow line to pass somebody who's doing precisely the speed limit. It happens to me all the time.
Another reason why I like New Hampshire is there's no requirement to carry auto insurance, at least as a citizen driver. But maybe maybe Uber and Lyft drivers are required by the company to do so, and that's fine.
Yeah. So they'll be reasonable. It's just the major victory is eliminating the numerical limits. Now, what happens when they have the victory on immigration? The victory is eliminating the numerical limits. Okay, some people have a criminal record. You got to be careful about letting the government use that as an excuse. During the Holocaust, by the way, and there was a conference in 1938, the Evian Conference, and a whole bunch of countries sent bureaucrats to it. And Adolf Hitler said, we, on our part, are willing to put these criminals at the disposal of these countries for all I care, even on luxury ships. And so now, while the federal government of the United States would not increase its quota, the only country that increased its quota was my country, the Dominican Republic. I wasn't born yet, but they increased their quota some. And the United States said, well, at one point, what they were saying, we could let some of them in, but they have to get a certificate of good conduct from the police, and the police hated Jews. So you get down to the police station, it's...
I feel like I'm one of the few that's okay with criminals coming in, because until they actually commit a crime here, what's the problem?
Yeah, and what's to say...
Are they running from... You're okay with them if they're running from justice, like say
no,
for
you can
some
still
reason...
extradite them if you catch them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like you could allow the Mexican police onto American soil if they're after a Mexican fugitive.
That sounds scary.
Why?
Well, they're not worse than our police, but that's just double the police.
Okay.
Well, the problem is,
Or justice
you don't
seeker
know
then,
whether-
if you're a private entity, right? Like that's what Dog the Bounty Hunter got busted for, because he went into Mexico to extradite some Mexican guy, and they're like, "You broke the extradition rules because you're not allowed." And like, well, he's bringing somebody to justice. What's wrong with that? It doesn't have to be the police.
What I'm getting at, though, is you don't know whether they got a fair trial, and here you are excluding them. But so you got to watch out for that one. Diseases, well, you can have these people checked out, and there are ways to control diseases. But the bigots, they keep bringing up that issue, but then...
the same thing with the diseases is you can also have diseases from the local population. That's not exclusively a migrant thing, especially now in the anti-vax era, right? Like there's a lot more people going like, we're not going to vaccinate.
I have not heard people make that argument like, oh, they're going to bring us diseases, but like they shouldn't be because no, I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying that those are going to be definitely the people who didn't want to take the vaccine and stuff like that. So they should be consistent in saying, like, if you walk out of your house, you're taking the risk of getting sick every time you walk out of your house, even when you're in your house. When you order
Depends
something,
who you invite in, or what you invite in.
Is you got to eliminate the numerical limits. There's no numerical limit of how many spouses of U.S. citizens can move into the United States. It's just that the bureaucrats at the embassy drag their feet and issuing. Some people are waiting for years after they get married before their spouse can join them in the United States, and that has to stop. But
all immigration enforcement has to stop. It's not even about limits. It's just let people come, and if they're criminal, do criminal. Put them through the justice system, and if they're working, let them work for whatever wage they agree to.
Suffer them to do it, because when you say let them, it sounds quite like you're licensing them, you're giving them some kind of a privilege, but the word suffer them means you're only not stopping them from doing something.
Okay.
It's not like you're giving them permission. It is actually a better verb to say you'll suffer them to enter the United States. And as long as there's no numerical limits, and then people can just move into the United States, and then you're going to have to eliminate a lot of the manipulations of economic activity that allow jobs. I remember joining the workforce many years ago. And let's see, now there's a job, but the buses don't go there. Let's see, there's another job, but you got to have 5 years experience. And that would be a violation of the child labor laws if I had 5 years experience, because 5 years ago I was too young to be, anyway. And
if Americans can't compete with immigrant labor, like they're that, dumb or whatever, or financially out of it, it's the company or the owner's job to give. And they should be able to negotiate for whatever they want.
Now, when and then I said, well, what about these nice, cushy union jobs working for the public utilities, the public transit, the postal service? Oh, no, Tom, we got to save those jobs for men who served their crooked politicians by dropping napalm on children in Vietnam. So, there's a major manipulation of economic activity impoverishing me. How about I wind up with one of these jobs? Oh, well, gee, Tom, why don't you sign up to go drop napalm on children in Vietnam? And that's a wicked thing to do. But I survived that. What they got to do is eliminate a lot of these manipulations. The cost of insulin, just for example. The government is jacking up the cost of insulin, and what's to stop me from opening a store and saying I'm going to have a sale on insulin?
The government, yeah.
The government is.
Then I go and buy the insulin in Bermuda for a lot less and put it on my plane, and instead of landing at Logan Airport, where I have to go through customs, I'll land at a municipal airport and bring it to people. I would get thrown in jail. I would be arrested by immigration and customs enforcement.
Yeah, the only people preventing you from doing that is the government. So if you eliminate the government, there's a business opportunity availed to you.
Immigration and customs enforcement is guilty of killing people and robbing people of the money that they have to pay for insulin. People die of insulin because they have to ration it. They have to take it every 2 days because they don't have enough money to pay for it every day. And then they wind up dying from lack of insulin because they
Right.
don't have the money to pay for it.
But the people on insulin aren't begging for a free market. They're begging for the government to cap the price.
They're begging for the government to cap the price, and people who have insurance don't give a fire talk about what the price is, because the insurance company is paying for it. They don't fully see how much the company they're working for is paying for the insurance.
Right.
And so you got to limit. I'll look at the case. I believe it was the April 2017 issue of Reason, the baby who died because the kid was born in a hospital in Virginia that could not open a neonatal intensive care unit. They had the money to do it, but the bureaucrats said, no, we're not going to issue a certificate of public need, because you can always just call an ambulance if the kid needs neonatal intensive care.
You're walking through like an entire web of government interference at every stage of the game. Right.
And
every problem that arises is somehow related to the government preventing something from happening on the free market.
But the politicians who write these terrible laws aren't going to go down there and stop you from doing it. They have goons doing this stuff. Law enforcement goons, gun-toting goons in bulletproof vests. That's why I say they are the enemy. And there's not good ones and bad ones. Some people keep coming up back with the same garbage about how there's a few bad apples. No. They're all members of an organized force that is on a mission to intimidate people into complying. Well, that's their job.
And they forget the rest of the saying. It's not just there are a few bad apples. It's a few bad apples spoils the bunch. Like, that's the whole cliche.
And yes, it does spoil the bunch. They're all the enemy.
Thank you for the call, Tom. I know he believes the same thing about the cops, and I agree with him there. They're all bad. There's not a few bad apples in the bunch. They're just... Actually, the species of apples is bad. More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live. Don't go anywhere. More Free Talk Live coming up. You can call.
Some of you have wanted to support Free Talk Live's mission on a monthly basis, but don't want to support Patreon. Now we have an alternative that also helps our premier streaming platform, Odyssey. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join at the top of the channel. You can subscribe for $5 per month, and unlike other subscription services, Odyssey adds their processing fee on top, so it'll cost a little over $5 per month, but Free Talk Live will receive the entire amount you pledged. Higher donation tiers are available if you're feeling so inspired. You'll get a special membership badge that's visible in the Odyssey chat room, and if we get enough supporters, we may enable members-only chat. This new subscription method is a great way to decentralize our direct listener support away from just Patreon and also support a libertarian-run business, Odyssey. Please visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join to subscribe to our Odyssey channel and help support spreading our message around the planet. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join today.
Protection. Eleutheromania. The insatiable desire for freedom.
Filibuster. Police state.
It's the new 3-song heavy metal EP from Captain Kickass. Available now on your favorite music app or get it directly from CaptainKickass.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. Much of this week was dominated by one word: tariffs. The Friday, August 1st deadline forced countries to make last-minute deals with the US to try and avoid crippling duties on exported goods. But just ahead of that deadline, US President Donald Trump announced new tariff rates ranging from 10 to 41%, but giving countries another 7 days before those rates come into effect. Ever since Jagruti Dave sent this report from Washington, D.C.
Among the dozens of countries hit with new duties, Switzerland was surprised to find it had been slapped with a 39% tariff, and Canada said it was disappointed by Trump's 35% levy. The White House says its strategy will bring in more foreign investment to the US, but experts warn of higher costs for American businesses and consumers.
Countries were left trying to work out what their rate meant. Taiwan called theirs of 20% temporary, with Taipei still hoping to strike a deal. Ever since Laura Westbrook sent this report from Hong Kong.
Speaking in Taipei, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te calls the new levy temporary and says it's too early to say it represents a failure. He said the main reason the two countries had failed to reach an agreement by US President Donald Trump's August 1st deadline was that procedural arrangements had not allowed them to complete a summary meeting for the negotiations. He added Taiwan is willing to have more talks, with the final goal being a reasonable rate that has a minimal impact on the electronics industry.
In contrast, the European Trade Commissioner praised the 15% deal that was struck with Washington ahead of the August 1st deadline. Ever since William Denslow sent this report from Brussels.
In a social media post, European Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič said the trade deal signed with Washington will restore trust in the transatlantic economy. He says that EU exporters will benefit from a more competitive position, but a number of European leaders say the framework agreement is lopsided. The 15% baseline tariff is lower than the 30% the US had threatened, but the EU had originally pushed for a zero-for-zero agreement.
During the week, Canada and the United Kingdom announced plans to recognise a Palestinian state in September. Those countries followed a similar announcement from France, the three nations trying to put pressure on Israel to end its military campaign in the enclave. Ever since Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney announced Wednesday that Canada will recognize a Palestinian state in September as long as the Palestinian Authority holds elections next year without Hamas and agrees to a demilitarized state. The move makes Canada the third G7 country to announce plans to recognize a Palestinian state within the last week, joining France and the UK as international pressure mounts on Israel over the starvation crisis in Gaza.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. A tsunami warning issued this week for parts of the US West Coast and Japan was downgraded quickly after a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake off of Russia's east coast sparked widespread concern about potential impacts across the Pacific. After the downgrading, officials said that coastal areas should still remain cautious for any further activity. Ira Spitzer sent this report from the US West Coast from the city of San Francisco.
One of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded struck deep beneath the Pacific Ocean near eastern Russia, triggering tsunami warnings across the region, including in Japan, the Hawaiian Islands, and the U.S. West Coast. Waves over a meter high were recorded in California and Hawaii, but caused minimal damage. Still, emergency officials are urging residents to stay alert, particularly near harbors and beaches, due to the potential for strong currents and any more aftershocks.
There was worrying new data for the United States on Friday that showed job growth slowing dramatically in recent months. Unemployment also rose slightly, all of it raising questions about the overall strength of the US economy. Ever since Mitch McCann pored over the numbers and sent this report from New York.
The US economy added 73,000 jobs in the month of July, well below analysts' expectations of 100,000 jobs. At the same time, job growth for the previous 2 months was revised down by a total of 258,000, an unexpectedly high number. The slowdown may indicate that the job market is much weaker than previously thought and that American employers are adopting a wait-and-see approach to the president's tariffs before making hiring decisions. The data shows employment in the US government continued to decline by another 12,000 jobs, and professional services and business services lost 14,000 jobs. Meanwhile, the US unemployment rate ticked up slightly to 4.2%.
And that's the Week in Review. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
Medical experts announced that an Ebola vaccine is at least 50 white people away from being developed. The CIA is now ready to install a female world leader, and a sex toy is discreetly shipped in a plain dildo-shaped box. Rising to the top of the video news summary game through an unstoppable combination of glad-handing and payoffs, This is the Onion Week in Review. Reflecting on his accomplishments and questioning his current abilities, the Lord God Almighty, our Heavenly Father and Blessed Savior, told reporters that he was no longer confident whether he would be able to create the world in only 7 days. He who commanded light to shine from the darkness admitted that the mere thought of producing the entirety of the universe from nothingness, a task he once completed with time to spare, had become surprisingly daunting, and added that creating a small, lifeless moon or asteroid now seemed like a more realistic goal. In this week's science news, psychology comes to a halt as weary researchers say the mind cannot possibly study itself.
This is the Onion News Network.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. And get in on the conversation with us. Talk about whatever's on your mind. We've had lots of calls tonight, and that's always fun. I would rather do a show where there are lots of calls. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Richie Rich.
And before Tom's call in the last segment, we were reading this New York Times opinion piece, and it is pretty long. I don't want to spend the rest of the show on it unless anyone wants to call in with their ideas or their thoughts about it, and that number is 603-283-6160. But I looked around and I found what they're actually trying to propose here, because they're saying basically there is this idea that to be considered dead in the medical industry, you need to have no more heartbeat or zero brain activity. And they're saying that it's a problem because the supply for organs for donation is low. And they said how to resolve this debate. Well, they're referring to like the debate back and forth that they
start harvesting sooner.
It says the solution, we believe, is to broaden the definition of brain death to include irreversibly comatose patients on life support. Using this definition... Wait, what?
Well, I was going to say, see, there you go. Those are the people that still might be dreaming and having the best time of their life.
And they can spontaneously wake up.
Yeah. I don't have this headline pulled up, but after I found the one that I brought in similar to this one, there was one that there was like a boy, and they were getting ready to harvest him, and right as they were starting that process or procedure, he woke up.
Wow.
Like he's like, I'm alive. Don't steal my organs.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like he was a child. So,
I definitely want to hear that story.
Okay. I will try to find it on the break then.
I want to definitely flesh out or let them flesh out what they're saying.
Yeah.
It says they want to include irreversibly comatose patients on life support. Using this definition, these patients would be legally dead regardless of whether a machine restored the beating of their heart.
Legally dead. Another government definition.
Yeah, legalese for horrifying things. Yeah.
No, he wasn't dead, Your Honor. He was legally dead. There's a difference.
This says, so long as the patient had given informed consent for organ donation, removal would proceed without delay. And that's just like, can you really get informed consent?
Yeah, you check the organ donor box on your driver's license.
But if that's all it is, it needs to explain to those people. It also includes if you're in a coma. Because, I've been in a coma before.
I mean, you're talking about the fine print at the DMV. If you want to go over the contract, fine.
I don't think they really give you that. I think it's just organ donor.
Yeah, it's just a box.
Well, it's a box you check, but if this is the case,
they're going to expand the meaning of death. Well, that leads me to question, could you medically induce a coma like that to get out of if you're dead, are your debts absolved? Can you just get out of bankruptcy by
finish your life sentence?
Oh yeah, you could finish your life sentence. You put yourself in a medically induced coma, where
come back out.
Yeah, well, like if doctors don't know or like don't know when you're going to wake up, are you not in an indefinite coma?
It wouldn't qualify for that death. That's a different kind of death. There's layers of death now.
So then
Maybe
what is
because
murder?
legally that's how
Then
legalese work.
you're opening up a whole nother
murder is a
box.
perfect example because the government considers if I killed you right now murder, but they don't consider death being caused by one person to the other person in war murder. They don't consider that murder.
Yeah, but if I'm brain dead in the hospital, would you not get charged with my murder? Like if you hit me in the head with the lock and a sock.
That's a good point. Now it's like that
you better
person's
hope he
already
doesn't
dead.
die, else, otherwise you're murdered. Right now, it's just manslaughter.
Yeah, well, he's already dead. So right now, that's one thing. But if they change this the way these people want, then somebody in a coma, you can do all kinds of things to them.
That's a
like
murder charge, right? Wouldn't it be?
remove them from
Would
their
be.
thing. And it's not. It can't be murder because they're already dead. Like if somebody's in coma, somebody gets himself in a coma, and then I just
somebody
You kill him
stab
on
you.
top of it?
Yeah, you can't double
Okay.
kill someone.
All right.
This
Pulls
is
the
such a
plug without their
stupid-
consent or something. Little air bubble in the IV line, something crazy.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to kill someone
Your
without
Honor,
it
he
being
was
obvious.
legally already dead. All I did was start harvesting the organs.
Oh my gosh. This is so awful. I really hate this. It says so. Oh yeah, as long as they've given informed consent. The ethical debate about normothermic regional perfusion would be moot. Okay, I think they put that as almost like a joke.
I don't know
what
that
the
is.
heck
Okay.
that is. It says, and we would have more organs available for transplantation for
Yes.
the Rothschild
Just
guy.
sounds like boomers are running out of people.
That's a good
They
point.
didn't have enough kids, and now there's no more organs for them to get replaced with. All their hearts are failing, and they go, "Oh no,
Yes.
where are all the replacement parts I'm supposed to have?"
You don't get a heart from your kids, but the
might
the
be able
the
to.
Get a
kidneys
kidney.
and
You can get kidneys,
If your
livers.
kid dies in an accident, right? Because he was street racing.
Yeah, like there's just less people, period. So less people are dying in accidents.
Yeah.
And all these boomers are like live in their house all day. All they do is golf. And you don't want an old heart anyways. Why would you want a boomer heart to
It's
be
gonna fail in a
it's going
couple
to
years?
fail in a couple years anyways. He lived the exact same life you did.
You don't get any new languages.
He was a chain smoker. Ate hot dogs every day. Lived to 97.
It says, apart from increased organ availability, there's also a philosophical reason for wanting to broaden the definition of brain death.
Oh, this will be good.
The brain functions that matter most to life are those such as consciousness, memory, intention, and desire. Once those higher brain functions are irreversibly gone, is it not fair to say that a person, as opposed to a body, has ceased to exist?
Where are they located? Did the article say where they're located? The doctors?
The writers?
or the
Yes.
Okay.
Give me a second. It says that the first one is a cardiologist in New York, and the other two are directors for the Center of Heart Failure and Transplant, but it
Okay.
doesn't say where.
All right. I feel like they'd have a better chance in Canada.
Yeah, where there's already
Right.
people like, yep, you can just kill yourself if you're depressed enough.
Right. It's
Or
like,
if you want a chair lift up your stairs. Have you read that? I read this one story about this veteran in Canada. Not saying she should get like extra benefits or whatever, but she's disabled from the waist down, and she's been waiting for actual years to get a stair lift installed in her house. And one of the last times she was on the phone talking with a Canadian Health Department official, they were like, "You could just kill yourself."
yes.
And did she
wasn't
take him up on
joking.
it?
She wasn't joking.
No,
The
they're promoting that
They
in
were like,
Canada.
"Yeah, if you don't want to wait for your chairlift and it's disrupting your life that much, you could just kill yourself."
That's
and
so
the lady
mean.
was just serious.
So
But-
this will
but
be
the-
like one step down. Well, you could wait for the chairlift, or you could save
One
5
step
lives by
down.
donating your organs.
Really, Richie Rich, one step down.
Well, from suicide.
I'm just kidding about the chairlift.
Oh, nice. Man, that was actually a good one, and I'm sad I didn't get it.
Maybe I did it badly. I don't know.
No,
No,
that's on me.
I caught it. I was
You
like,
caught
"Why?
it?
Wait. Okay, whatever. You know."
Richie Rich liked it.
No,
Hey.
it was a pun. It was a dad pun.
Yeah,
it was a good
it was
one.
good.
Yeah. I'll credit where it's due.
So, did the lady who hasn't gotten her chair, did she take her up on that, or was she complaining?
No, she was appalled that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
no,
was
it
like,
made the
"I got-
national news.
Yeah.
Like I broke my back serving the country. You know, albeit, you know, maybe you're silly for doing that to begin with, but I
Especially
feel like
in
I should
Canada.
be.
Well, she's just one of those people up on the horses.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. What
Oh,
are they called again?
The Mounties?
Yeah,
Mounties.
yeah.
The Royal
Those are
Canadian
police.
Mounted Police.
I think she was in the army. So it was like, you know, if the government's already paying for all this stuff, why can't you just install this person you are a chairlift for somebody you damaged already.
Yeah.
But instead you just you can kill yourself. That would, you could free up your house for an immigrant family.
Maybe she was being really awful to the lady who's just answering phones on the other line.
Yeah,
rightfully so. If you've been waiting years
for years for a chairlift.
She decided to live in Canada and fight for Canada her whole life, knowing
Well, she's
how
probably
crap
born in Canada. Okay.
Yeah, but you still decide to live once you become
All right,
an
fair
adult
enough.
in Canada.
But but this is one tier down, right? Like instead of, you don't have to kill yourself yet, lady. But if you happen to die, you can save 5 lives. We start the process now. You donate your organs. We don't need to worry about the chairlift anymore.
I know you feel sad about getting laid off from your McDonald's job, but
have you considered organ donation?
Have you thought about just checking out and letting us have your body?
I kind of have stayed away
Now
from
the
that
kidney
whole thing.
sales are legal.
It's just like creepy for one thing. I've stayed away from reading about the Canadian and I think also Norwegian
with their death pods.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm for that.
Well,
That's a
wait.
voluntary thing.
Do they do death pods in Canada, or how do they?
Well,
go?
I think the death pod is a recent phenomenon. Like the invention has only been prominent for maybe the last year, maybe 2 years.
Isn't it just a garage car muffler trapped in a in case? Yeah, it's just doing the same thing.
Right, but I fundamentally believe that given the right to life, you also have the right to die on your own terms. Right, so this is not the government promoting suicide. This is the government allowing euthanasia, which should be allowed for people who are suffering or just want to die.
I agree.
And these pods are an invention that facilitates that more humanely.
But if it's government funded healthcare, well, then would it not be in the benefit of the government to promote people to kill themselves instead of actually fixing their problems in the idea of saving money?
Yes, you are correct, but the people should still have the option.
Yeah, there are people that talk about whether or not people should be allowed to kill themselves in the Free State Project because they want there to be laws in place where people should or are allowed to end their own lives. And I really couldn't believe it that I saw even Free Staters arguing against it with them just based on their own religious beliefs.
That's the problem.
That's a huge problem. Everybody owns their own
religious
bodies.
interference with politics is the biggest problem I have with religious people.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
don't care what you do, but you get into office and you try to push that stuff on me, and then we have a problem.
I have no intention to want to stop them from indoctrinating their kids, not at all. But I like the idea of convincing people to not believe it before they have kids because they're going to mess up their kids. At least with Christianity, because that's the one I'm in.
I think that's a universal human thing, though.
The people are going to mess up their kids.
You're going to mess up your kids some way, somehow. Your
this
kid's
is so
going to need
preventable,
therapy.
though. So
this particular thing is
Christian
preventable.
Trauma, then it's my mom was like a weird, super inclusive advocate trauma, woke advocate trauma, where I was paraded
It's not
around
either
the
or.
streets. But at some level, you're going to mess your kids up. You're going to, if it's not your dog dying when you're 12, it'll be you falling off your bike. There's just going to be something's going to happen. Your parents.
I think there's a huge difference from things you can't help happen, like your dog is going to die at some point, and telling your kids you're worthless and there's nothing you can possibly do to be not worthless. So you have to follow these steps, and don't do this, and you might end up in hell for eternity, or this, you might end up in hell for eternity.
Right.
It's that's completely your choice to do to a kid.
You're right. I'm not disputing that. Just also saying that there's
it's just not what you care about.
Humans are fallible, and parents are human. So parents are fallible, and so they're going to screw something up along the way, and their kids are going to have trauma for it. So you're never going to eliminate childhood trauma by mandating perfect parenthood somehow.
I would never want to mandate it either. I can use my voice to convince people in some way to stop believing something that is
right.
I just believe in truth. My number one most important desire is for humanity to move closer and closer to actual truth. I believe it's a real thing.
But I also I grew up Catholic and religious, and then I shed that off once I hit college.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't really stick with me all that much because clearly my opinions don't favor that. So it's not like it has an impact, but it's also not permanent.
I gotta say, Catholics always seem to be the ones that were more just secular compared to all the Christians I knew.
Fair.
It's always been like, if you're a Catholic, I thought you guys were just like, we don't ever go to church, or we only do on these days. It almost always seems to be that way. But
Yep.
it could definitely get more devoted, I guess. I don't know every Catholic in the world.
Yeah, there are devout Catholics, right? Members of the priesthood who usually have an affinity for boys.
Yeah. So I guess there are levels to how much it can affect a kid too. But that's not even my number one thing. I just also brought that up, but I think my number one thing is the same as what you said. Them wanting to get into the government with their laws. Like in Utah, that was one thing that was just intolerable to me. Like while I lived in Utah, they made the drinking blood alcohol content level 0.05 instead of 0.08 like the rest of the country.
Which is still low. It's still like below the threshold for, incapability of operating a vehicle. Like you can be 0.08 and still be fine behind the wheel, but they lowered the threshold because of Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Oh,
Like,
Utah did?
No, the country. Like the 0.08 limit is artificially low, mostly from mad advocates
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
and lobbying from that organization.
Do you know around when it went to 0.08?
I don't, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, because I feel like that's always been the case my whole life, like in every state at least almost. And then Utah went to 0.05. They already have the actual alcohol in Utah is like you will get the same exact kind of beer, like whichever one you want, Dos Equis, and say it's like 5% alcohol in Texas. I don't really know that. Then it's 2.5% or 3 or something like that in Utah.
Okay.
So weird. Might not be exactly half like that, but
Yeah. I mean, it's I want to say like the 70s and 80s, you still had open container laws. Like in Mississippi, this is what one of the best things about Mississippi is you can still drive with a beer as long as you're like not reckless and then you blow below that 0.08. Like open container, fine.
Whoa.
It's the last state remaining. Right, but before that, I mean, there's like YouTube clips when they were interviewing people and like, open container law is going into effect, and the rednecks were pissed. Are you telling me that I can't get off a hard day's work and I can't just have a beer on my drive home? Like, no, you can't do that anymore. This is a fascist government, and they were right in the 80s. Like this was, 40 years ago.
Oh yeah, I've seen videos of people being interviewed about it. They're like, "This government is getting fascist, is out of control."
Right. I gotta wear a seatbelt too. Like you guys are killing me here.
Yeah.
Right, but they were right.
Yeah, they
then,
were. I like
as far
that.
as liberty and freedom is concerned, right? But you could drive as long as you weren't being reckless or harming somebody else, right? Who cares what you're drinking in your own car?
So, do you have that story about the boy that they stole his organ and he woke up during it?
No, because I didn't have that one for show prep, but I can still look at that one during break. The headline that I had was Feds revealed dozens of organ donors may not have been dead.
Oh no!
When the procurement processes started.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. Is that the RFK part, or or another one that's been revealed? Or
no, this is part of the RFK thing.
Okay.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services confirms it has launched a major initiative to reform America's organ transplant system after it stunningly revealed that dozens of organ donors may not have been dead when the process to procure their organs was started, and dozens more exhibited neurological signs incompatible with donation.
What does that mean, that last part? Neurological signs incompatible with the donation?
I'm going to assume, based on the way that it's written, that those are the people who haven't achieved full brain death. Right? Like they had signs that the brain was still working and like, you shouldn't be donating this yet. And they're like, we kind of need
Harvesting. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Let's get started. Our findings show that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life. And this is horrifying, explains HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The organ procurement organization that coordinates access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure that every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves, he said. A commentary posted at the Washington Stand on the situation highlighted one case. According to a partially redacted 8-page report dated May 28, 2025, HHS received an allegation of potentially preventable harm to a neurologically injured patient. This prompted the Health Resources and Services Administration, the subdepartment of HHS that oversees the organ donation system, to launch an investigation after HRSA Administrator Thomas Engels assumed his post in February. The New York Times identified that victim as Anthony Thomas Hoover II, then 33 years old, who was hospitalized with a drug overdose. Excuse me, missed the line. With a drug overdose. No, I missed the line. With a drug overdose in 2021. Hours after doctor had declared him brain dead, Hoover awakened to find medical staff preparing to remove his organs. Even though the man cried, pulled his legs to his chest, and shook his head, officials still tried to move forward. Hospital staff ultimately became uncomfortable with the amount of reflexes
Oh my
Hoover
gosh.
showed, and a doctor ultimately refused to remove him from life support. The man ultimately survived.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly, right there, man. The drug-induced coma, doctors don't know what it is, and they try to cut you open.
He's flailing about, like, oh, that's just his reflexes. He's just reacting to the
This is like
procedure.
the salting a fish. It's still
It's just the live octopus in Korea. Yeah. HRSA reported that it reviewed 351 cases where organ donation was authorized, but ultimately not completed. It found 103 cases showed concerning features, including 73 patients with neurological signs incompatible with organ donation, the same quote as earlier.
That's a really weird way to put it, yeah.
Yeah. At least it's probably some medical
it's probably
terminology.
Some legalese. Like you
legalese.
have to call it this, or just for like court proceedings or whatever.
At least 28 patients may not have been deceased at the time of organ procurement was initiated, raising serious ethical and legal concerns. And evidence pointed to poor neurologic assessments, lack of coordination with medical teams, questionable consent practices, and misclassification of cause of death, particularly in overdose cases.
I'm pretty sure that murder is a questionable consent practice.
Absolutely.
Grey's Anatomy, real life.
Did not watch that one.
Me either.
I didn't either. I just know it's a bunch of doctors doing terrible things.
More of a house
and
guy.
that just seems like yeah.
Talk about consent. Under the plan, the Organ Procurement and Transplantation Network has been told to reopen an investigation into one unidentified case which had been closed under the Joe Biden administration. The newest review suggests clear negligence. Now being imposed are new corrective actions and system-level changes that are intended to safeguard potential donors. Yeah, right. The Organ Procurement Organization must conduct a full root cause analysis of its failure to follow internal protocols, including non-compliance with the 5-minute observation rule after the patient's death. That's all they give them, 5 minutes.
Whoa.
Wake up in 5. You don't get like a full 15-minute break.
Wake up.
And develop clear, enforceable policies.
There's water on their face.
Splash them, shake them. Wake up! Otherwise, we're taking everything. Develop clear, enforceable policies to define donor eligibility criteria. Additionally, it must adopt a formal procedure allowing any staff member to halt a donation process if patient safety concerns arise, the government said. Safeguards and monitoring also are being ratcheted up. These findings from HHS confirm what the Trump administration has long warned: entrenched bureaucracy, outdated systems, and reckless disregard for human life have failed to protect the most vulnerable citizens.
I don't know, I just started thinking something. What if the conspiracy about this is that RFK and Trump, they want us to stop wanting to donate organs because they want more people to die somehow, like with not enough organs available? What do you think? Free Talk Live, more coming up, 603-283-6160. You can call and tell us what's on your mind.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. Tired of the ever-inflating US dollar? You can live your life on Dash instead with some handy websites. BitRefill.com has been accepting Dash for years and has a ton of big-name retailers and brands including grocers, gas stations, phone refills, Amazon, and even prepaid MasterCards. Plus, many of their gift cards are available at a discount. But what about paying your bills? Spritz.finance can do that, and they can send dollars to your bank account in case you still need those for some reason. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at Dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit Dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. US Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, is visiting Gaza on Friday to inspect food distribution sites and discuss the starvation crisis, as President Trump says the US will work with Israel to get more food into the Strip. Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is visiting Gaza on Friday along with Ambassador Mike Huckabee. The White House says they will inspect food distribution sites, work to secure plans for more food delivery, and meet with Palestinians to hear about the hunger situation firsthand. Reports have suggested that they will visit food distribution sites run by the controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Sites run by the group have been the scene of regular incidents of deadly violence in which the UN says Palestinians seeking aid have been shot and killed by both Israeli forces and the American military contractors guarding the sites. Blake Sifton, Tel Aviv.
India is reportedly weighing diplomatic steps to appease the White House amid a surprise US announcement of 25% tariffs on Indian goods. Reports suggest New Delhi is exploring import boosts, not retaliation, to keep trade talks alive, but it has vowed to protect its labour-intensive agricultural sector at all costs. Kshitij Nagar reports from New Delhi.
India was caught off guard by President Trump's surprise 25% tariff declaration, according to a report by Bloomberg. Reports claim India is now considering proposals to increase US imports, including energy, electronics and communication equipment, to try and ease bilateral tensions, but has ruled out any immediate retaliatory measures. Opposition parties have criticized the Indian government's handling of the issue in the ongoing parliament session. Rahul Gandhi from India's main opposition party, the Congress, described the situation as a blow to India's broader foreign and economic policy direction. However, India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India will not work on any trade deal that jeopardizes the country's agricultural interests, even as formal talks continue with the US trade officials. US negotiators are expected to arrive in New Delhi in mid-August to continue talks for a mini trade deal. Kshitij Nagar, New Delhi.
Meanwhile, Pakistan says it's reached a trade deal with the United States. The confirmation comes after US President Donald Trump said that the two countries have signed a deal to jointly develop Pakistan's oil reserves. Hira Mustafa has more.
Pakistan's finance ministry says the agreement includes a reduction in reciprocal tariffs with particular benefits for Pakistani exports. The exact scale of tariff relief has not been made public. Washington has also made no reference to tariffs being part of this deal. But officials in Islamabad claim the US has agreed to ease tariffs against Pakistan in a bid to strengthen ties. However, exact details of the trade deal will remain under wraps for now. Hira Mustafa, Islamabad.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. To bring up whatever's on your mind, there's still time for you in this last segment of the show to bring up anything that's on your mind. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
Oh, sorry.
Unmute us.
No.
Mutiny. Go ahead.
Mutiny.
Angelo.
And Richie Rich.
Mutinous. I don't know. Well,
we will take that mic by force if necessary.
Just let me share this one. Not unmute the other ones. So yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to unmute them, but yep, you've got me, Angela, and Richie Rich on the line today. Because you can be on the line with us technically if you call in, and that's 603-283-6160. And we basically have been talking about many different things tonight, but one of the things we were talking about was RFK.
Okay.
He figured out that people are actually getting the conspiracy thing done to them. They're getting their organs taken without them being actually fully dead. Sometimes it is alleged that they're actually way more alive than what we read. And the last one was definitely a description of somebody who's definitely seemed alive. He was like screaming, pulling his knees up to his chest to try to keep them from getting his heart.
And I did find the article of the boy. It's from 2018, so we don't have to get into that.
Mhm.
But basically, he was also brain dead from an accident. And right as the parents were signing the organ donation paperwork, giving their informed consent, he woke up.
Nice, good,
Yeah,
good
so-
on him.
How do you explain that? Imagine being a parent looking at your kid with the forms in their hand.
And the doctor going like, he's never going to be alive again. You might as well just sign the
Well,
forms.
but how do you explain that to your kid? Yeah, man, it was like 15 minutes in, and we were gonna call it. We didn't think you were gonna.
Just say
you
the
were coming
doctors were
back.
telling us there's no possibility you'll wake up, because that's what they probably had to say.
We would have aborted you, but it was illegal in our state at the time, so we had to
Yeah,
wait.
we had a way out. We saw the way out, and we weren't looking back. Sorry, kiddo. We already spent your college fund. We bought a house in Greece.
Oh my god. 15 minutes in. Well,
You know what? I know he seems like he's not brain dead, but have you seen him? You see what he's into on social media?
Oh, honey, look at this one.
a new kid.
No, the houses.
Oh.
One's talking to the doctor, and one's like actively behind the house.
Meanwhile, he's having a near-death
Scrolling
experience,
Zillow.
floating around the room, like looking behind his mom's shoulder, like, really?
Trying to whisper in her ear, don't
2.5 baths. That's what my life is worth. What is this?
If it's Turd's bath, you never know. It could be really nice.
Oh yeah, I was like, Turd's bath. Yeah, I forgot. He's talking about how great his bathroom is. He's renovating because we need to hear about that.
Sorry, I do throwback jokes every once in a while.
No,
When I was
I picked it
walking
up.
through Shrewsbury on Google Maps here, I passed so many duplexes. I was like, this could be Turd's house. This could be Turd's house.
Right next door to Ricky from the Commonwealth.
That would be hilarious. But I guess we'll probably never know that because they won't tell us their addresses over the phone for some reason, over the radio.
I mean, we could ask Ricky if he ever calls back. Do you live anywhere near Shrewsbury?
We can ask him if he's ever seen.
Shrewsbury? Forest Street?
We can ask him if he's ever seen Turd walking around.
You can go check out the club that Turd works out on amateur night.
Oh yeah. They should just meet that way.
Then he'll never know. Well, except
yeah.
they will, because Ricky will walk in with his battle flag.
Yeah. Ricky,
I heard it was amateur night at the club.
Ricky has apparently he's had like a website and people have seen what he looks like before, so Turd might know what he looks like. And
I feel
Turd,
like the amateur night in a place like Shrewsbury, I'm thinking it's gonna be a lot of like methed out white women. So I mean, maybe
basically all Midwest places.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I mean that's super southern. I don't know why.
Pennsylvania's not southern. It's
just
the Midwest.
Just methed out
Yeah.
white women as the strippers.
And it's above the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
So
I might disagree
doesn't
with
count.
if Shrewsbury is as nice as he claimed, you might not get that meth people going up there.
You think they're gonna be high class strippers in Shrewsbury? Is that
If it's Shrewsbury as nice as he claims, this is not like the
It didn't
corner
look
strip
nice
club.
to me, to be honest.
This is a high end dance club with strippers.
It didn't look like amazing to me. And I just started where Google started me. It's like,
yeah, but all the hot ones just do OnlyFans now. Like if you're still working in a club,
all right.
I feel like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel for talent these days.
I think if you're
or is
on
there just that many women willing to do the job?
I think it's a good way to market your OnlyFans.
oh, that's a good point.
True.
I wonder if there's rules against that. Like maybe there's like policies in different strip clubs. Like, all right, that's it. This has been causing problems. No more marketing your OnlyFans because that's going to take away their customers.
Just whisper in his ear while you're giving him a lap dance.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well,
check out my OnlyFans.
I wanted to hear about this story that you brought in, Richie Rich. This pizza place got their customers high
Yep.
on accident.
Yeah, well, we'll say by accident. You never, chefs and cooks. They tend to.
I never understood the appeal of getting high by eating something like a big meal. Like people would talk about like, oh, I made this like pasta sauce and we're going to get high eating the pasta tonight. For some reason that just sounds like gross to me, like being really full and high at the same time. But
Okay.
and I've always felt that way.
I don't do marijuana, so I don't know. But I would suggest that marijuana gives you the munchies.
Yeah.
So if you're already full,
But this is the
maybe
thing.
it fulfills you.
With me for munchies, it's like I never got the munchies while very high. It would be like when it's going away, now I feel like I could eat a lot. Like
okay.
Theoretically, you can pack a lot more THC into the oils and the butters than you can if you were just smoking a blunt.
This is like theoretically or from experience.
And
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Anyways.
and I get way too high too easily, so I don't need to get any higher.
But I mean, you can really pack it in there. Like,
I feel like it would be proportional to what you can eat.
If you do it right, if you do it right, you can eat 1 or 2 cookies, man, and you can not understand English for about 24 hours. If you can really up the amount of effects just in a cookie, So like, I don't know. I mean, what if you had like half a plate of pasta and the next thing you know, you were just jetted off into.
Yeah.
Or you could proportion it just right. Like me and you could eat a lot more pasta than Bonnie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we'll need a lot more to get as high. So she eats less, gets high, as high as us, but we got to eat more to get it.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of feeling stuffed and also being uncomfortably high. It sounds horrible
Well, then you
to
can
me.
just dose it, because they make them in lollipops. You have sodas now. Just they make all kinds of edibles. They're putting it in everything.
But to somebody that sounds awesome, because other people describe munchies differently than me for sure. Like they just want to eat a ton while very high, and it sounds horrible to me. But
see, yeah.
I think I'm an outlier too. I think most people just love to eat when they're super high.
I don't even need to get high. I just like to eat.
Me too, and I like it way more not high. It's like part of it was I would always get this fear that I forgot how to swallow while high. Okay. Or like that I forgot how to breathe and stuff like that, or that I would just choke. And especially if I was alone, I'm like, I can't eat until I'm not alone anymore because I could choke here, die, and nobody would know.
I will share this with you. Don't get fat, because I'm fat, and sometimes my body actually prevents me from breathing even when I'm awake and conscious. Like I just can't inhale because something's blocking it.
Like a sleep apnea
I'm not,
thing?
but I'm not asleep.
Yeah.
Right. I'm awake and I have to like force it out first and then inhale in.
I
it's
don't
weird.
like that at all.
But it's only because I'm fat. Never happened when I was skinny.
Scary.
Yep.
I've been here since the jump. I see no differences.
Okay.
I've been giant. I've been big since I was 12.
All right. Well, for me then, like it's definitely associated with my weight.
But neither one of you know what I mean about like being high and feeling like, oh, I kind of feel like I forgot how to swallow.
Oh, well, I definitely know about like the terror, and you can just apply it to whatever you're thinking about in that moment. But I just call it the terror. Like whether it's why is that car behind me? What am I doing in this moment? What is the worst possible scenario? And your head's just going to jump there. I just call it's the terror, like the paranoia aspect of it.
Yes.
I've never been high.
I always call it like
you
the
consider
doom.
like the dentist stuff, the nitrous at the dentist.
Mhm.
That's like the maximum drugs I've been on.
It's definitely a drug. And they gave me like a Xanax once because I told them I was really scared I had to get a root canal, and that's like a pretty big deal, and you don't get put to sleep for it. So I was like,
I know. What's up with that?
I was like, I'm really scared. So they gave me a Xanax for like 30 minutes before on the drive. It was like an anxiety medicine, not a painkiller. So I think it was Xanax. And then they also gave me the nitrous, and that was absolutely high. That's definitely counts as high. So
all right. Well,
I'm
saying like that's the highest I've been is just dentist nitrous, and I didn't hallucinate or have any munchies or any feelings.
Mhm.
And also, I had a root canal on like my molar,
Mhm.
which they can't even numb completely.
Really, I did too, but I guess maybe because I got that
I didn't
Xanax,
get
it was
that.
just different.
I
And
got
I was
the
watching Bob's Burgers.
I got the local anesthetic, and it's still the most pain I've ever been in.
Oh my goodness, that sucks.
Yep. All right, so
I
this
had a
was
molar too.
Yeah, this was a pizza joint. At least 85 people accidentally became intoxicated with THC, the psychoactive ingredient in cannabis, after eating pizza, garlic bread, and sandwiches from a Wisconsin restaurant, a new report explains.
What part of Wisconsin does it say? What? Get into it.
I don't know. It might get into it. I don't know off the top of my head. The unusual incident which took place in October 2024, was described in a new report published July 24th in Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. There's a weekly report for that. A regular publication put out by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The report authors are affiliated with Public Health Madison and Dane County, who warned Wisconsinites of the mass intoxication event that was unfolding last year.
That's horrible.
So Madison and Dane County, wherever that is in Wisconsin.
Probably where Madison, Wisconsin is.
Stoughton. Are you familiar with Stoughton?
The capital.
Okay.
It says that I Googled it just to make sure. I already thought this was the case, that cannabis is illegal for recreational use in Wisconsin too. So I bet these people got in trouble.
I hope not.
Well, they have a weird.
They were poisoned.
There's a.
Oh no, not them. Yeah, I hope they didn't get in trouble.
There's
but
a loophole in Wisconsin where they just sell THCA, because technically the thing that's illegal in Wisconsin is
THCB.
Yeah, it's something like that. So
it's like the Delta 8 thing.
Yeah, it's like Delta 8, but it's actual THC. So it's just like as soon as it's heated, it turns into the illegal substance. So everybody's just selling it like it's normal.
Well,
nice.
I don't know if this is exactly. It's probably all still like.
Whatever you do, don't heat this up.
Yeah, don't heat it up.
You're fine right now, but if you heat it up, you're breaking the law.
Look at this cart. Don't
just
put
for
it on
decoration.
the battery.
Yeah.
All right. A statement issued at the time named the restaurant Famous Yeti's Pizza in Stoughton, Wisconsin, which immediately cooperated with investigation and was determined to have unintentionally contaminated its food with THC. Live Science contacted Famous Yeti's Pizza for comment on the news report, but had not heard back by the time of publication. The statement urged anyone who had bought food from the restaurant between October 22nd and 24th of 2024 to throw away any leftovers and watch for symptoms indicative of THC exposure such as dizziness, increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, nausea, vomiting, anxiety, panic attacks, paranoia, hallucinations, or short-term memory impacts.
Oh no, it's a symptom of the marijuana poisoning. Thank hell.
Keep in mind, each person's reaction may be different, and the concentration of THC in the pizza can vary by piece. The statement noted. The department later released additional information on social media and its blog to note that leftover Grinders submarine sandwiches, garlic bread, and cheese bread from the restaurant were also affected and should be thrown out. The health department was first alerted to the issue on October 24th when local emergency medical services reported that they'd transported 7 people with similar symptoms to the hospital in the prior 2 days, and all had reported eating food from the same restaurant.
If I didn't know I was taking marijuana and I just suddenly was high, I think I'd probably end up in the hospital too. I'd be like, something's going on with me. I'm having a panic attack.
Food poisoning at least.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
I bet there are... I'm immediately thinking of the people who didn't want to get high because that's like where I'm at now. But I bet there are also people who got even more than they paid for. They're like, heck yeah, no way I'm throwing away my grinder.
Hey, you guys
Grandma,
want some Yetis?
leftovers? You got leftovers from last Sunday?
Yeah.
They're still in your fridge?
Yeah, exactly.
Jones for Pizza. Anyone want to go to that Yeti's place again?
Probably closed down.
Well, they cooperated, so who knows?
But why did they have so much marijuana-laced pizza and grinders?
Is there like was an employee arrested, or like how does it even happen?
Keep talking. I'll skip down.
All right. Well, I mean, that doesn't make. And how much marijuana, if it is in an illegal state, and you're gonna poison 85 people to a point, you're gonna get them all high enough to where they notice. How much money did you just waste?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, like I always, when my parents were like, they give out drugs for free on Halloween to kids, and now I hit like 12, and I was like, those are expensive. I wouldn't give those for free. They kill people over debts for these things, and you think they're just going to be handed out to children on Halloween?
That whole thing it was because people wanted other people to believe there are just really evil people out there.
Yes,
like really bad
no
people.
razor blades in your apples.
Yeah, exactly. I hope that never really happened. I never really looked into it.
Nope, it's always been a hoax. They contacted the restaurant owner, who immediately agreed to close as the inspection commenced. The owner informed the health department that the restaurant's building has a shared industrial kitchen where other vendors prepared food and products.
Oh.
One of those businesses included a state licensed vendor who prepares edibles containing THC derived from hemp, specifically the Delta 9 THC.
Whoa. Oh, so it is one of those off. It's not even real weed. Well, it is, but it's not. It's a weird gray area
It's the most abundant form of THC found in cannabis plants. Along the THC products was cooking oil infused with psychoactive ingredients. It turns out that on October 22nd, the restaurant had run out of cooking oil and used oil from the shared kitchen in the building to prepare the dough.
I do love the idea that some kind of based chemist found out, hey, wait a second, and also Law Dog looked at the laws and said, they've only criminalized this kind of marijuana, but we know how to, like, what's it called, isolate this other part of the marijuana and, like, started making money. I think that's a great thing.
That's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
And find the loophole and profit.
One of the issues with that, though, is a lot of it is petroleum-derived product, and it's just slop from China that they're throwing together.
But
almost like the precursors to fentanyl. It's all kind of the same thing. They've been finding like low traces of like opioid adjacent things in the Delta 8 pens. So I mean, because there's just you don't know what you're getting in
But it's
there.
not just the Delta 8 and things like that. They're doing that with the regular marijuana because it's like it's a agent to make it smooth and move. And also they do this same thing with kratom. If something just makes you feel weird, they'll just add it into the kratom so that way it's like, oh, I feel like this one worked. This one like had an effect. There's this stuff called 7-hydroxymidograne that they put in kratom, and it's just this like it's basically the Delta 8 of kratom. It's actually part of it, but it's like very small amounts in real kratom. And the only kratom I buy, they take crypto and they don't put that 7-hydroxymidograne in it.
Right.
We do have a caller on the line though, so I want to answer them since we need to give them a little bit of time. If it's a good call, David in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
It's always a good call, you know it. And I just quickly ran over from the other station to your station because they were talking about kratom over there on, on the Kotex radio that you guys used to be on in Needles, California. But I tried to get. Matter of fact, I called in there and I tried to get Henry. He does a recovery show right now. Like when you're doing this show, he's doing that show. And I called him up. And by the way, I just dropped like 20. I just dropped like 20 gummies about an hour ago.
20 gummies of kratom?
No, vitamin C, man, not this kratom crap.
Oh, okay.
So I did have some edibles, brownies a long time ago, and they made it so I couldn't feel my pee-pee.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah. Anyway, I also had hallucinations. And the drug dealer's girlfriend thinks that it might have had some other stuff in there, but who knows?
I've only ever had closed eyes hallucinations.
Angel dust smoky?
What?
But it worked.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, yeah.
Well, you have to smoke angel dust.
Okay, so not in an edible?
Yeah, I mean, if he's hallucinating, they probably just like dropped LSD on top of it. And it's like, here you go, buddy.
I thought LSD is. I mean, I thought angel dust is coke.
No.
What is it?
I just remember the
it's like
line
a
from the movie.
PCP, man, it'll make you strong.
Yeah, it's
You can take on the cop.
PCP.
I did not know that.
It's
Every
like
time
the
people say
zombie
that,
drug where you like freak out, start eating people's
makes you
faces.
angry and stuff like that.
No,
I've heard of
yeah,
PCP.
It'll take 6 cops to hold you down, Bonnie.
I've heard of PCP, but
That's why I
didn't
don't
know it
know
was
why it's
angel
not more
dust.
popular.
Well, I think it's
Like
because you really
more
just
PCP.
He wants to be the Hulk.
Just want to be able to take on 6 cops.
Okay, Tom, are you listening? Just kidding. Incredible Tom.
You talking about Kratom?
No,
he
no.
Craig Craig?
I didn't even think about that. That has the word Tom in it. So,
Craig Tom?
why did you mention that you dropped 20 gummies of vitamin C? You're just messing with us.
You're talking about edibles, and coincidence has it that like an hour ago, I chewed up like 20 gummies.
Some Flintstones gummies, vitamins.
No,
10 million strong and growing.
They were for adults, you know. They were like 2,000 international units instead of 500. They were for adults, Bonnie.
That sounds like that is a type of vitamin C, that when you get too much of it, you pee it out. Not all vitamins are that way, but vitamin C, you pee it out if you get too much. So I feel like you're just wasting money that way.
Water soluble, man. No, actually, I did. I was using them. I wasn't using them for the vitamin C. I was using them for off-label, dude.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, me too.
When I have a tummy ache, for some reason, the gummies make my tummy ache go away almost every time.
So it doesn't matter that the gummies had vitamin C. You just wanted to alleviate a stomach ache with the gummies.
Yeah.
So you took 20. Right. I found a Tums that doesn't have talc in it. I honestly don't know the name off the top of my head, and it works just as well. I'm so happy because Tums was one medicine I did not want to let go of. Like as far as like trying to not take that many medicines, Tums is just too important to me. I hate being nauseous.
Have you tried just putting some baking soda in some water? You know, like a quarter teaspoon of baking soda.
I have tried that, and I have tried apple cider vinegar for that stuff, and it doesn't work and is horrifying. Like it's like imagine being nauseous and then taking something nasty. Like that does not help me. But Tums work perfectly.
Just put it on your salad, man. Sprinkle it on your fish and chips.
My grandma always had the bottle of Tums, so I always associate that with old people.
It's definitely, it almost is like an old people candy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The texture and everything, like a Necco, is that what it's called?
Necco wafers.
Yeah.
It's the fruit flavored one.
Wafers.
Yes, that's definitely old people candy.
It's dessert.
So you don't get high, do you, David?
I'm naturally high. Yeah, I do. I get high. I take like in the morning when I'm sitting there having my coffee, and I'll like pop an aspirin, and it like makes the calm like even deeper. It's really cool.
That's super Ray Pete-y. Aspirin and coffee. What? Ray Pete's a doctor, and he believes the aspirin can prevent cancer. I don't know if he ever said cure cancer. And coffee, he believes, is good for you. And he has this whole article that he lists like 40 reasons it's actually good for you. Not even like, oh, just not bad for you, like actively good for you.
I don't know how you can drink coffee to calm down. It's a stimulant.
No, well, it's the ritual. It's the ritual.
Okay.
It's like the Japanese tea ceremony. In the morning, you wake up, you're kind of groggy.
Okay.
Sun's coming up, birds are chirping.
That's fair.
You go through the same process to make your coffee. It's like a ritual.
That's exactly how I feel. Like,
that's
calm
fine.
down isn't really the right word. It's more give me my moment to like feel like I crossed through the abyss from sleep to awake.
Fair, but people do it with cigarettes too,
Mhm.
right? Like nicotine's a stimulant, and people are like, oh,
Well, that's why
I need to relax.
It's so addictive. It gets you an oral fixation hand to mouth. It's ritualistic.
Okay.
And
But it doesn't
gives
relax
it
you.
gives you.
People like try to smoke a cigarette to like calm down. Like, oh, I got to smoke a cigarette. I need a cigarette.
Well, because that's the action. It's the hand to mouth oral fixation. It's something you've been doing since you were a baby.
But take a depressant. Find like an inhalable depressant, so you actually calm down. You're like melatonin in a stick.
I thought so. It is definitely a stimulant, nicotine, but it says it can have depressant effects depending on the person and the dose. There's so many drugs like that. Like marijuana is supposed to be both. Kratom, it's like a low dose is a stimulant and a high dose is a like opiate downer.
Okay.
Depressant. There are lots of drugs like that. I don't really know why. I don't understand why would it be why would nicotine be a depressant to some people? I don't know.
They're just built different.
Yep. It says as nicotine levels drop, it can also induce feelings of relaxation and calmness. So it's like as it's dropping.
No, that's the come down.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. I don't know. This
That
also
doesn't
the
count.
Google
Well, maybe
AI
that's
over
why they
you.
don't calm down until a couple minutes after they've lit the cigarette.
Okay. So they got to amp up in order to like get back to baseline and feel better.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
that makes sense. I mean,
No, it doesn't.
Well, have you seen like with the withdrawals from heroin withdrawals can kill you.
Mhm. Okay.
Like, so I mean, you are riding like that dragon, right?
I get
Like
it, but if you're trying to calm down, you don't want to like amp up first and then just get back to baseline. You're already there. You're as calm as you need to be. Or if you want to get calmer, take a depressant that lowers it.
Well, I don't know.
Not
if I
artificially raise it and then bring it back down.
I can now see how this pizza place wasn't really to blame, possibly. It just seems like a mix-up at their, like, ghost kitchen, but I hope that they didn't get taken
Be
down
more
by the cops.
responsible when you order supplies so you don't run out of your own oil.
Yeah, they sound irresponsible. But it's been Free Talk Live. Thanks for listening, and for more, go to freetalklive.com. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Reflecting on the persistent troubles it caused his sibling during childhood, local doctor Daniel Barrett told reporters this week about his average-looking brother, Kevin, who first